It's a fall tradition in NASCAR, a welcoming back to the familiar, the old stomping ground. Some might call it homecoming weekend. Only at this homecoming weekend, we're replacing a game with a race. Welcome to Charlotte Motor Speedway. On behalf of many of us here, welcome home.
The time is now. Under the lights, in front of the hometown crowd, the time is now. 5 races to go. 5 races to forget what you had and show what you have. Get going, get racing, get chasing, or get out of the way. The place is Charlotte, and the time is now.
Welcome to the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and welcome to Countdown, and welcome also to the 29th race of this 2012 season. Let me ask you this. What's the #1 thing a team must do during homecoming weekend? Win. Defend your own backyard, and that's exactly what Ricky Stenhouse will certainly try to do here tonight. His Roush Fenway Racing team is less than 5 miles from the track. Stenhouse starts 4th. The points leader says this might be the most emotional and challenging race of the season. Has a little bit to do with the color he's wearing on the suit. We'll explain later. The points leader, Elliott Sadler, also starts on pole, and it's a double-duty weekend for the driver starting 6th. That's Kyle Busch. He's the all-time wins leader in this series with 51 W's, but Kyle has not won a Nationwide Series race since Richmond in September of 2011. From pit road and the garage to the ESPN pit studio. Welcome inside. I'm Nicole Briscoe alongside Rusty Wallace, Brad Doherty, and Ray Evernham. You know, the last time we saw you, we were coming to you from Dover in this series, and we saw the points lead for Elliott Sadler go from 4 points to 9. So, gentlemen, what's on your mind now that we are back?
Well, Nicole, what's on my mind right now is Austin Dillon. This young guy is 25 points behind, guys, and his grandfather, Richard Childress, who owns the team, really wants this young guy in victory lane. He wants to see him at the head of the stage at the end of the year to win this title. Now, look, both of his cars are on the front row, Elliott Sadler and Austin Dillon, but I think young Austin is really driving hard. He's wanting it really bad. He's qualified well. So, Nicole, I'd say Austin Dillon's the guy I'm really looking at. He's got 25 points to make up, and this cat right there can do it.
You know, for me, it's going to be what separates these top 3. You talk about Elliott Sadler. We saw him have the restart penalty earlier this year, get wrecked on a restart. I thought he would be out of it then. He fought his way back. Ricky Stenhouse, we've seen him wreck some race cars, almost have a win on a road course, end up wrecking the race car.
Fight.
He's clawed his way back. Austin Dillon, once we went to the road course races, he fell off the radar. I said, he's done. You know what? With that black hat on, he's got them 6 shooters out. He's right back in the shooting distance. So what's it going to take for these guys to separate themselves?
Well, you know, that's great stuff, guys. But overall, this race is a big race to win for all of the nationwide teams. The Charlotte Trophy is one of the jewels that you want in your trophy case. It is a great way to pick up momentum, sponsorship, all those things at the end of the year. So this is a huge race for all of the nationwide teams.
And it's also a huge race because if you look at the schedule all season long, we've been calling these tracks, these mile-and-a-half tracks, the bread and butter of the series. And if you look at the remaining schedule, 5 races, 4 of them are on mile-and-a-half tracks. This is a night where one of these drivers could definitely make a case for the championship.
I agree 100%. This racetrack we're starting at tonight is Charlotte. Super fast. Track falls off a little bit. A ton of grip. So, yeah, whoever's the most prepared will take advantage of this opportunity tonight. And whoever wins this race, which could be one of those 3, I agree with you. I think they separate themselves from the other 2.
Well, this is a really good snapshot right here in Charlotte, North Carolina, on this particular mile-and-a-half to find out who is strong at this racetrack. Because this is kind of a traditional mile-and-a-half. It's a track they all like. And if you run good here, you show you got good horsepower, shows you got good aerodynamics, and you show you got good handling. I'm really concerned about the brand-new repaved mile-and-a-half next week at Kansas.
It's a little bit of a wild card.
It is. You're true about that. But with you saying 4 of the last 5 left for mile-and-a-half, very, very important. These guys got to run good in these style tracks.
Well, they absolutely do. And the good news about that is the guys that are battling for the championship are the guys that run good on the mile-and-a-half. So this battle's going to go down to Homestead, like we've been saying.
In fact, the last time we were at a mile-and-a-half track, who won? Austin Dillon.
Austin Dillon.
Happens to be standing by with Dr. Jerry Punch.
Got that cowboy hat ready to settle up and do some points chasing here tonight. Now let's talk about this championship first of all. 25 points back, and the guys you got to chase in the standing start beside you, your teammate Elliott Sadler, and behind you Ricky Stenhouse. What do you do? How do you win this championship? Do you get aggressive and gamble, or do you play it conservative and let those guys make a mistake?
Just got to beat the competition. You know, we got to stay solid like we've done all year long, finish laps, and there at the end we got to take it from them somehow. We just got to be aggressive and want it more than they do.
You told me earlier today, this is in spite of the fact you've won both your races this year at Kentucky, you've not been this good even when you were driving the trucks at this racetrack. Why?
I don't know. We just haven't had the finishes that we've been able to qualify well here, just not the finishes. So I think today, though, we've really learned and looked back at our history from those races, and I think that's benefited us already in qualifying. So we'll go after them hard tonight. It's really cool to be out here in Charlotte, near the hometown and under the lights. This is going to be some fast racing.
Hey, good luck to you and that lucky cowboy hat.
All right, thanks, guys.
Austin Dillon, let's check in with Jamie Little.
Well, Elliott Sadler, his teammate starting on the pole tonight. And Elliott, this kicks off the first of 4 mile-and-a-half races. So how important is performance for you guys tonight looking forward to the championship?
You know, that's a good question, and it's very important. We know our intermediate tracks is a lot left on the schedule, and we got to get a lot of points, but it starts here tonight. This is a very personal race for me. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I mean, we were here a couple weeks ago to paint the start-finish line pink, and for us to be able to sit on the pole tonight, pink uniform, pink car, pink shoes. My mom's here with me. It's a very special night for us, so we're going to go out there and try to make things happen.
Looking at all the pink cars and pink all around, how important would it be to win tonight? Just in the big picture of, like you said, your mom being here and looking forward down the road 5 more races.
Well, it's very important to us. Like I said before, it's very personal to me and my family, and we just want to run good here at Charlotte. I mean, One Main Financial has been really good to us, and we qualified here at the pole at Charlotte. We've run good here in the past, but we just want to put it all together tonight. And I mean, this is what it's all about. It's our favorite race of the year as a family. So because my mom gets to come here and be a part of this, and it's an amazing night. I've seen a lot of. I'm so proud of everybody here at Charlotte Motor Speedway and a lot of the sponsors for turning their cars pink and things like that. It's just a neat race.
It's great to see your mom here, Belle Sadler. Belle, it's great to see you, breast cancer survivor.
Yes, 5 years.
Congratulations.
We're celebrating. What a wonderful way to celebrate with my favorite driver on the pole.
Yes, it would be, especially if we ended up in victory lane. And speaking of your favorite driver, he is our in-race reporter tonight. To join in the conversation, log on to ESPN.com, search in-race reporter, or follow us on Twitter at NASCAR ESPN. Let's go over to Dave.
Thanks, Jamie. With Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who qualified 4th here in May, but the day ended in disappointment. So you qualified 4th here tonight. You need 9 points to catch Sadler. How is tonight going to end?
Hey, I tell you what, our Mustang was really good in practice, and last time we qualified 4th here, we were really fast, just draft shaft didn't last all day. So hopefully our Cargill Beef Mustang is the same as how we were in practice. I feel like we had a really good race car, and hang around the front all day. 4th isn't bad. We got a little loose in qualifying, but I love racing at Charlotte under the lights, and it's going to be a lot of fun tonight.
You just jumped out of the Sprint Cup car. The first time you did double duty, I think I heard you say something like, now I know why these guys are so good on Saturday, because they race on, because they race both days. So how will you apply what you learned in the Sprint Cup car to tonight?
I don't know. Our best by fusion over there wasn't as great as we wanted it to be, but a good thing was I was on the track, and just being on the track, being in the race cars is seat time, and anytime you can have laps around the track, that's better. I think we still got a lot of laps to go to catch some of the guys like Harvick and those guys, but just being in the race car all day long, I think definitely helps us. So hopefully it pays off, and we end up in victory lane tonight.
More experience for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He's second in the championship. Nicole?
Thanks, Dave. All 3 of those drivers have won at mile-and-a-half tracks this season. And on the Cup side, we've said about the drivers in the championship hunt that they have to win down in the final stretch. Does that same theory apply here with a slightly different format?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely the same because, as we said before, the good news for us is all 3 of those guys are good on mile-and-a-half, so we see a great race. The bad news for them is the only way they can maximize points because the other 2 guys are so good, one of them's got to win, maximize points.
Yeah, week in and week out, the superior equipment resides in the top 10. We see it all the time. So if one of these 3 guys falls outside of that top 10, they don't have any competition. The competition that you have to score points against and beat are those guys inside that top 10. And the way to maximize that number, inside that that top 10?
Victory Lane.
There you go, man.
Well, I'll tell you what, you guys know, I'm all about Mr. Consistency. I like to be consistent. You don't have to win, in my opinion, to get the job done, but you got to be consistent. But I will tell you, if a guy like Austin Dillon or one of those top 3 goes out there and wins, it'll scare the rest of the guys off. It'll scare the competition, no doubt about that. So if you win like that, that does something. But you don't have to win this championship.
So we've got a championship on the line here tonight in the next coming weeks, and there's a championship possibly on the line tomorrow. SEC standouts square off on ESPN tomorrow. Steve Spurrier's third-ranked Gamecocks look to maintain the nation's longest winning streak as they travel to Death Valley to take on Les Miles and the 9th-ranked Tigers, who are looking to rebound and stay in that national title hunt.
Old ball coach.
College football primetime presented by Hampton Hotels. South Carolina versus LSU tomorrow, 8 Eastern on ESPN. Also live on Watch ESPN. Brad, you're not excited about that?
I'm fired up. Oh, that's going to be a great football game. Old ball coach going down there. They're going to get it on.
When we come back, speaking of those Cup drivers we just mentioned, they're here in the race tonight. But why? Why would Brad Keselowski or Denny Hamlin take on another distraction? It's risk versus reward, and that is coming up next.
There's the Queen City, baby. That's some good restaurant there. That's what I was going to say.
I like
that's
that.
Good evening, Charlotte.
Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway, where, listen to this, the winner of this race has gone on to win the championship 4 times, including twice in the last 3 years. But we're talking the Nationwide Series Championship. Look at this list. It's the 11 double-duty drivers, the drivers who are racing both in tonight's race and tomorrow night's race, and it includes 3 drivers, Dave Burns, who are running for the championship in the Sprint Cup Series.
Brad Keselowski will be working both sides of the garage this weekend. You and I talked a little bit about it yesterday. After spending the day now in the Cup car, you've had recent track experience. How much will that help you tonight in the Nationwide car?
Ooh, I don't think that much. I'm going to rely a lot on the experience I've had in the Nationwide car over the last few years with 2 strong cars here. We were able to win in 2010 and had a shot in 2011 when we had a tire go down. But I'm probably going to rely on that more so because the Cup cars drive at this point with the rules package over there quite a bit different than the Nationwide cars. So there's not a lot to be took back and forth.
All right, well, we'll see how he can do with that. He starts 9th tonight. Jamie?
Well, Denny Hamlin in qualifying told me they made some adjustments, moving in the right direction with this car. So how good do you think it is?
I think it's okay. I think still got some work to do, and obviously we didn't have the best qualifying effort, but we're going to try to race them all night. We really worked on having a car that we can move around the racetrack with and be able to run different lines. Where we've been stuck on the bottom, our cars have been so loose. So hopefully we've improved upon that, and we'll see what our Dollar General Toyota's got tonight.
Certainly been a busy day going back and forth. Cup Nationwide, Denny Hamlin will roll off 8th, Nicole.
And it does bring up an interesting sort of idea, risk versus reward. If you're Denny Hamlin, you're 3rd in points. If you're Brad Keselowski and the points leader in the Sprint Cup Series, this race could be a distraction.
Yes.
Is it worth it?
There's an obligation that's involved. In order to start the season with the opportunity to run this nationwide program, the commitment is made then with the sponsor who buys in for the full season. So they don't care, or they're not concerned whether Denny Hamlin or Brad Keselowski is going to run for a Cup championship. They're spending their dollars to run for a nationwide championship, and he is signed up as the driver, and he has a commitment and a contract that he's obligated to. Cut and dry. Whether they want to do it or not, they've committed to it, they're obligated to it. They've got to do it.
You know when that happens, don't you, though? In the off season.
Right.
Yep.
When they're all calm and everything's good and say, hey, man, you want to run some races? They go, yeah, no problem. Let's go ahead and run them. It's easy. Then all of a sudden a year gets going on.
Good point.
And then they're good in the points. And they're going, oh, man, I don't want to do this. Case in point, we talked about Denny Hamlin. I don't think this guy wants to be racing this car tonight.
Too late.
He doesn't look like he enjoys it at all. You know? But... And then the other thing is, can you really learn something from the Nationwide cars to the Cup or vice versa? We've talked to so many drivers this week and said, you know what? They are completely opposite. As far as setups from car to car, Ray, it doesn't seem like I can learn anything there.
Well,
Maybe they feel better about the rhythm or something.
I think that's a great point, Rusty, because how much risk versus how much reward. And I think that as these guys know that there's risk, and I think based on some of the things, the announcements that we saw this week happen, these guys realize the risk, and I think they're going to manage that risk a little bit better tonight. And if they can't learn a lot from doing this, they're probably not going to push to no, look, I'm not going to run as hard to have to win this race. I'm going to learn what I can, and the big picture is winning that championship.
Well, you brought it up. The big story of the weekend is a bit of a risk versus reward for Dale Earnhardt Jr. The risk simply was not worth it, and that's a doctor's order.
Yep.
So he's not racing here this weekend, and this is why. He had an undiagnosed concussion after a big testing crash in Kansas. Then this last weekend at Talladega, a concussion again. So 2 concussions in the span of 6 weeks. Essentially, this eliminates Dale Earnhardt Jr. from the Sprint Cup Series championship talk. Big picture, what is the fallout from this particular situation?
Well, I can tell you that this is a big, big day for our sport. When Dale Sr. lost his life in a crash, it made major advances in driver safety because of that accident. Now with Dale Jr. stepping up and saying, hey, I have had a concussion, I have had an injury, and I'm going to take some of the responsibility for my own safety going forward, I think it's going to open the door for younger drivers, for other athletes, for kids in high school playing football to stand up and say, look, it's not about championships, it's not about keeping your streak intact. It's okay to stand up and say, look, I'm hurt, I need to step back.
But how do you say it's okay if you're still involved in the championship? How do you do that? Because I know that this has been a situation for you before where you wouldn't have walked away from the car.
I still wouldn't have walked away the car. It's probably the smart thing for what Dale Earnhardt Jr. did. But if he thinks he was in the championship, I mean, if he was way up in the championship, I don't think he would have got out of that car. Because right now he says he feels good. He got the wreck and he felt weird after that. I'll tell you what, getting out of that car is a big move because getting back in, people are going to label him. They're going to say, hey, every time he goes out and something goes wrong, they're going to say, maybe it's the concussion that caused it. The media is going to be saying that. Some of his fellow competitors are going to be saying that. But I will tell you, there's a lot of drivers that got their bell rung that kept going. Now, I'm not saying if I was him and I'd still been in the car, I probably would have, okay, because it's hard to get me out of the car. But this is a real tough decision. I've had some hard hits. I had one of them down at Daytona where after I wrecked, for 15 years after that wreck, I'm talking 15 years out of that wreck, every time I got in the shower, shook my hair dry, I would get really dizzy. Finally, I quit doing that. But it had an effect. It did not have an effect of me driving a car, but there was another effect that I felt for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And obviously Dale Jr. is feeling something.
Well, we talked to NASCAR today about their processes and how they go about, looking at these athletes once they're hurt and what they do. And I think that will be revisited. They seem to have a pretty thorough process, but the athletes being very honest about their injury is obviously a significant part of that. So NASCAR will have to take a step even further, more aggressively, to help protect these guys from themselves.
It's exactly what Dale Earnhardt Jr. said. The onus is on the driver themselves. You have to be honest.
And I'm going to tell you what, I think that Dale Earnhardt Jr. being in this situation, they say a couple of weeks. It may not be a couple of weeks.
You're right. It might be a lot longer than that.
Might be a lot longer than that. I think that's the concern as we look at him right now. We don't know when he's going to get, or if he gets back in the race car.
We certainly hope that that's not the case. And
sure.
we wish him a good recovery in that. Yeah. Join our conversation, won't you? On Twitter, at NASCAR ESPN. Please use the hashtag #PitStudio. We want to know, what do you think about this Dale Earnhardt Jr. situation? And how would you like NASCAR to handle possible concussions? And also, tweet us your seat. We want to know from where and how are you watching this race tonight.
You know what that's good for? Getting close to the concession stand. Go get me a soda and a hot dog while you're up there.
Oh, no, it's
I'll give you a fine spot. I'll give you a fine spot.
It's a beautiful night here in North Carolina for a race. And when we come back, history says experience will matter most. But at what point can we consider the defending champion to be among the most experienced on the track? Talking Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I have a feeling that might happen tonight. Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway and NASCAR Countdown. Fans, remember to check out Race Buddy. It's enhanced coverage for select Nationwide Series races with more cameras than ever. Log on to NASCARNationwideSeries.com/RaceBuddy. Now, it is a perfect fall evening here in North Carolina with really, check out the corner there, the world's largest HD screen, which gives us a perfect view of this. Perhaps you've noticed an awful lot of pink around here tonight. It's in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We saw Elliott Sadler's mother earlier. Well, she and 299 other breast cancer survivors are on the track right now for driver intros, surrounded by a sea of pink. Drivers in their pink cars. We just saw Danica Patrick and her pink fire suit. It's just pink everywhere, including, aw, how cute is that? Including the trophy for tonight's race. Everything is pink. Aw, everything is pink. See, the trophy, we tried to dress up in honor, and the pink as well. You two down there have done a much better job than Rusty and I have to say.
I've got a little purple. I'm not so pink. This is close I can get.
It is as close as I can get as well.
We got you.
Even the start-finish line is pink this evening, which leads us to this. Mile and a half tracks, they kind of get a bad name for being cookie cutter. That is not the case. You've been talking all week about something called Calamity Corner, and I want to show you this because turns 2 and 4, well, they're definitely the danger zone. Since 2000, those two turns have collected 70 accidents with more than 115 cars involved. Why?
Well, this particular track, the transitions as you exit a corner, Nicole, they really fall off big time. Right off of turn 4, you exit. It's got a lot of bank in there and it just goes almost to a flat front straightaway. And as you leave that banking, the car just falls off. They get really loose there, especially if you're the car inside with your right side up against the other competitor's left side. That's where downforce goes away. So turn 4, in my opinion, is the worst. The next worst is obviously turn 2. Turn 2, it falls off big time, but not as much as turn 4. So the other tracks that we run, the other mile and a halves, don't have the big fall off like Charlotte does.
Well, one of the drivers who will be trying to avoid the danger zone on the track is another driver wearing pink tonight. Vince Welch is standing by with Brian Scott.
Yeah, the pink car and the Dollar General car, and a lot of Dollar General folks, about 300 Dollar General employees and guests here tonight to see you do your thing in the mile and a half. It's kind of your wheelhouse. You feel like you've got something that you can work with tonight?
I really think so. Just really proud to have an opportunity to show the support for the Susan G. Komen Foundation and breast cancer awareness and just cancer in general. This is a big weekend for us, obviously, being the Dollar General 300. We feel like we've got a really good car. We feel like we got a Toyota that's capable of getting to the front, running up front, and hopefully bringing home the coveted trophy.
He's been fast. He'll start 7th tonight, Nicole.
Thanks. Well, this season, 7 of the 8 races on mile and a half tracks were won by non-Cup drivers. That said, 9 of the last 10 here have been won by Cup drivers. So I'm curious, which trend will we see tonight? Rusty, who are you picking to win this race?
Well, tonight I'm going to pick Ricky Stenhouse. That car has got some serious horsepower under the hood. He's been so fast on the mile and a half, and he's qualified well here tonight. I really think he's going to run fast. I think he's going to win this race. My pick, Ricky Stenhouse.
Nice and cool, lot of grip. I agree with Rusty. Ricky Stenhouse wins this race tonight.
That's kind of boring.
I'm just trying to tell you how it is.
The guy that's on the pole, I asked him before he took the pole and he said he's got a good car. I said, can you win? He said yes. And you know what? He wants to win for his mama tonight. Elliott Sadler.
When we come back, we'll find out if these guys are right. We get closer to the green flag with Marty, Andy, and DJ. Plus, we'll find out who gets to take home the pink trophy. That's coming up next.
Talk about mama.
Well, as Nicole Briscoe told you, it's a beautiful fall evening here at Charlotte Motor Speedway as we're getting ready to go green. You can see we're just a little less than 18 minutes away. 5 races remaining on the NASCAR Nationwide Series and a championship battle that is narrowed now to 3 drivers, really. Although Sam Hornish Jr. still has a mathematical shot, it's Elliott Sadler by 9 over Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and 25 over Austin Dillon. Let's get the latest from pit road. First up is Dave Burns.
And Marty, for Elliott Sadler, a win tonight means extending his championship lead and bringing even greater focus to the issue of breast cancer research. For Elliott, it's a mixture of purpose and emotion, which makes his fast pole run all the more impressive. No driver has won this race from the pole since 2000, but Sadler may have the right driving forces to do it tonight. Vince Welch. 4 of the final 5 races are on mile and a half tracks, right in the wheelhouse of this 6 team and driver Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And winning in Charlotte would be special. It's a home game for all these team members. This is a big race for them, big for the site and big for the outcome in the championship. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. just 9 points behind. Doc?
And behind me, 22-year-old Austin Dillon has a lot of fans, but because he's a rookie trying to win a championship, because he's the third-generation driver and a grandson of Richard Childress, but folks, primarily because he drives a black number 3 car. And when you drive that black number 3 here at Charlotte, it conjures up a lot of memories. Let's go trackside.
At this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as the United States Public Health Service Honor Cadre presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Reverend Joe Anderson offers tonight's invocation.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the privilege of being here tonight. We ask that you would be with the brave men and women of our armed forces. God, that you would watch over and protect them, keep them from harm, that they might return home to us safely. We also ask that your will would be done in the upcoming election. God, we just, at this time of year, we focus on breast cancer awareness. Psalm 103 verse 3 tells us that you forgive all of our sins and heal all of our diseases. So Father, we ask that you would arise from your throne and curse this infirmity, that it would shrivel up and die, and your daughters would live and thrive. We also ask tonight that you would, God, increase the talents and abilities of these sheet metal swapping athletes that are about to attack the track tonight. God, that you would heighten their senses and awareness as they thunder toward the checkered flag. That we might see a race that will go down in racing history. And we pray all these things by faith and in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And together, all of God's creation says, amen and amen.
Here to perform our national anthem. Please welcome talented recording artist and American Idol Season 11 finalist, Shannon McRae.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free? And the home of the
So with the opening ceremonies concluded, last-minute words of advice, a little team pep talk perhaps, and then it's time to put the helmet on, climb behind the wheel, and get ready for 200 laps here at the mile-and-a-half Charlotte Motor Speedway. And as we come topside, and you might even take a late phone call. Hello again, everybody. Glad you could spend part of your Friday evening with us. Andy Petrie, Dale Jarrett, Marty Reed. And guys, let's talk about the 3 championship contenders, because one of them has more wins than the other two, but another one has actually outscored the other two in points.
Yeah, Ricky Stenhouse has really done well on these mile-and-a-halfs. We're getting a lot of wins. He's got a lot of points, too, with these mile-and-a-halfs, but not quite as many as one of his contenders, Austin Dillon.
Yeah, as we can see, Elliott Sadler is in first in the points, but the young man that has scored the most points, Austin Dillon, he needs to do that again tonight because he's the furthest behind. I think he has a good shot at doing that.
All right, let's talk about the fact that we've got 11 Cup regulars in this field, and only once in the last 15 races as a non-Cup regular won. So who is the guy that could spoil the party for those 3 championship contenders?
A guy that's been spoiling it a lot this year, Joey Logano. For me, he's won 7 out of 17 starts this year. I think that he gets the job done here probably tonight. And these guys win at this difficult racetrack because they are Cup drivers. They have that experience and knowledge of what it takes.
Yeah, but this has been one of those years where we've had a lot of these regulars, these nationwide regulars out there winning races on these tracks, on these mile and a halves. I think we might see one of those come up here tonight. If we're going to see the Cup guys get upended, it might be tonight.
All right, well, we're about to find out here at the Dollar General 300 at Charlotte. And fans, remember to check out Race Buddy. It's enhanced coverage for the select Nationwide Series races with more cameras than ever. Log on to NASCARNationwideSeries.com/RaceBuddy. All right, Denny Hamlin's behind the wheel, and he is, along with many others, dressed in pink tonight. In fact, we've been kidding about it if you've been with us earlier. When we're in doubt, we're just going to say, it's the pink car. Here we go.
NASCAR Nationwide Series at Charlotte is presented by GoDaddy.com, the quick and easy way to get your business or personal website online. And in part by Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side.
Everyone lives for a weekend off. Okay, maybe not everyone. Racers, they want to race. A week off can mean momentum lost, interrupted rhythm. Those who snap back into focus the fastest will get a jump on the field. Those who don't, well, they might as well take the rest of the year off, too.
Well, no more time off. Time to get back down to business. And we're getting ready under the lights here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. A little less than 8.5 minutes before we go green. And Andy, you were talking about tonight, maybe the string gets broken with a nationwide regular winning this race. And here's some numbers to back it up.
Yeah, you can see since 03, this is the lowest percentage of Cup regulars we've seen win races.
And the lowest since 2003, as you pointed out, when it was 47%, 50% this year. Maybe that figure drops again. Let's go trackside to get this one started.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, representing the Board of Directors for the Dollar General Corporation, Mike Calvert.
Drivers, start your engine!
Ready, got me. Start up. Yeah, man, I got you. All right, you're 40. Got you loud and clear, buddy. Loud and clear.
So the engines have fired on the 43 cars that made it through qualifying earlier today here at the mile-and-a-half Charlotte Motor Speedway, and they'll make their way out soon for the first of 4 pace laps. We're going to focus on that pole sitter because he is our in-race reporter. That's right, Elliott Sadler, the points leader by 9 over Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And it has been a very good season for Elliott. 4 wins, but his last win was back in August at Iowa. He wants to make it number 5 tonight. We'll talk to him when we come back to Charlotte.
One point. One measly little point. That could be the difference between celebrating all night or crying yourself to sleep. That's why every point counts. Every position, every lap led, every point you keep those Cup guys from stealing away. So get out front, stay out front. All that divides the champion from the forgotten could be that one little point.
And you want to talk about points? Just ask Carl Edwards last year in the chase on the final race. Cars are out on the track for the pace lap, and Elliott Sadler, our points leader. Let's compare last year to 2012, and you can see the 4 wins have meant a lot, as is the fact that he was 14 behind at this stage last year through 28 races. This time he's up by 9. Let's dial him up, DJ.
Elliott, we just showed the fans a graphic showing what an outstanding season you've had to this point. Got yourself in a great position atop the standings. And that leads us to our mailbag question from Scott in Essex, England. He asked, coming into the weekend with the gap to Ricky so small, how do you approach the race? Do you play it safe and finish or go full on for the win?
Well, that's a really good question, DJ, but honestly, With this being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the pink on the race car, with my family being here, especially my mom, it's all about winning the race tonight. And if you win the race, you score the most points. But, you know, we came here to win this race. We did a good job, guys. Gave me a great race car. But, man, we're going to go after them tonight.
Hey, Elliott, with your 2 closest competitors being really good on these mile-and-a-halves along with yourself, did that put some added pressure on you here tonight?
Yeah, I can't give anything up to them tonight. Austin really has been running good on the mile-and-a-halves here the last month and a half. Really fast. Ricky's been fast on mile-and-a-halves all season long, so I know they're going to be around the top 4 or 5 all night long. So we got to do the same thing. We got to be able to match it. We got a lot of mile-and-a-half tracks left. It's a good sign that we showed a lot of speed today to sit on the pole, and we just got to race them hard for 300 miles.
All right, Elliott, thanks for talking with us. Hopefully you can get that victory for Miss Bell. Now Andy's going to talk to your crew chief, Luke Lambert.
All right, thanks, guys.
Hey, Luke, it's Andy up in the booth. You guys got a fast race car up on the pole, but this racetrack is one of those that's really famous for changing as the race goes on, as the night comes along. Well, how do you expect this racetrack to change, and how are you going to adjust for it?
That's a real good question there, Andy. You know, as the night cools off, downforce is going to go up, air's going to get heavier, so we're just going to have to make sure that we keep enough rear grip with all that front downforce we're going to get later on in the night, and keep track of it. Well,
Luke, you've never been one that's shy about strategy. You've rolled some dice a few times, and you got that point lead right now, though. Are you going to play it a little more conservative? But it's kind of along the lines of that mailbag question. Are you going to be going for wins? Or are you going to try to play conservative here to the end?
Well, it'll probably be a mix of both. It'll depend on how everything plays out here, you know, as the race goes on, where the cautions fall.
Yeah, I can see that little grin. I figure you got something up your sleeve. Good luck tonight.
2-4, thank you, bud.
You know, we always talk about double-duty drivers and how it has played out over the course of time. But when you really look at the numbers, the guys that win the Sprint Cup Championship, except for Tony Stewart in 05, nobody really ran that many races in the Nationwide Series. So, Jamie Little, as we bring you into this mix, let's talk about those double-duty drivers that have a shot at the Cup.
Well, it certainly hasn't been a common trend to see in the past somebody going for a championship in Cup and wanting to run over here in the Nationwide Series. But 3 drivers are seeming to make a habit of it. Of course, Brad Keselowski, tonight's his 20th start in the Nationwide Series this year. You have Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin. Now, they all run it for different reasons, but Keselowski told us yesterday he finds a lot of benefit in being in this race car. After all, he is leading the points in the Cup Series. So, of course, a win tonight means a lot tomorrow night. Marty?
All right, thank you, Jamie. Got a passel of onboard cameras for you. And we'll start it off with Elliott Sadler, who is our in-race reporter. He is carrying the Nationwide Insurance onboard camera.
All right, I'll see you boys in a little while. Y'all have a good one. 10-4, brother. We'll be here for you all night.
Austin Dillon has the Chevy onboard camera. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., the Ford EcoBoost camera.
Remember, guys, all your friends are in this pit box. All the people we believe in, we support in, we trust in. We're champions. We're right here in this pit box. 5 races to prove it.
Danica Patrick has the GoDaddy.com camera. Joey Logano looking for victory number 8 with the Toyota on board. Brad Keselowski with the Dodge onboard camera.
Bottom lane behind or in front of the pink car. Yeah. That's just going to be the running joke all night, isn't it?
The 33 car, Kevin Harvick, the Goodyear onboard camera. And Michael Annett has the Nationwide Insurance onboard camera. Our over-the-wall man tonight is J.D. Holcomb. He's the front tire changer on the number 2. J.D., you guys be careful down there tonight, and we'll keep our eyes on all that action that you guys are going to be putting on for us when these guys come in for those pit stops. We're coming green as the pace car has lights out, and they are in between turns 3 and 4. And Elliott Sadler, as the pole sitter, has selected the inside. You see him in the 2. Right alongside is Austin Dillon. So all 3 of your championship contenders are in the first 2 rows. And the winner usually comes from the top 10 in this race. They come down towards the start line. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Here we go. The Dollar General 300 is green. Elliott Sadler picking up right where he left off in qualifying. He's out in front and already contact, smoke, and the 00 of Angela Cope. So we'll let's wait to see. And yes, the caution has come out. So we do not even complete the first lap under green. Well,
radiator leak right here. Shut it off if you have it. Code's back in. You should be able to make it from there.
Elliott Sadler will be credited with leading the lap. Do you know he led just one lap in this race last year, and that's the only lap led in 11 prior starts, so he's already equaled his career best here. I have a feeling he might be leading a few more. All right, watch the back of the pack as we take a look at this.
Yeah, these starts, things can kind of get jammed up if you start anticipating things going and somebody doesn't get off to a good start. A lot can happen, and it did in this case. Angela wasn't paying quite enough attention there.
And Angela started 35th, and unfortunately, as you heard, the radiator is cracked.
Andy, something that you've been pointing out in these nationwide races that I saw right there. Austin Dillon not getting up to speed on these restarts.
That has been one of his weaknesses. I mean, he's been great at just about everything he does, but he does not have the best record on these starts and restarts. I think it's one thing that keeps him out of trouble. He's finished a lot of laps this year, not been over aggressive on restarts, but he needs to work on a little bit.
Well, if we flash back a couple of weeks ago to Dover, the last restart there, I asked some of the crew guys, is he still kicking himself from that one? He said, no, he's put it away.
Yeah, that was costly, though, to that race team because they had gotten themselves within about 12, 14 points. And then he ended up where he's 25 back now.
Yeah, he could have been 16. Instead, he ended up 25 behind. And it's cut out a lot of work for him. He has to average 5 positions better, 5 points better than both of his competitors to get back towards the lead. Let's listen in on Brad Keselowski's radio.
That's early. Well, yeah. Now we can start on the top with some one-lap scuffs. And 4.
I guess he gets to change lanes this time. So he's got scuffs now, not stickers, and he's changing lanes on this start.
All right, we're going to step aside for just a moment. Elliott Sadler is, you might think, is the race leader as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing. Oh, the NASCAR Hall of Fame in downtown Charlotte. If you haven't been there, you got to take some time. Put it on your calendar. It is spectacular. And just a few miles away, we are at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, where our race tonight is presented by GoDaddy.com. We're under our first caution. Angela Cope had some contact, broke both the radiator and we found out an oil cooler because we have got oil dry, as you can see, all over this racetrack, and this is taking some time.
Yeah, speaking of accident, at the Hall of Fame there, a new safety exhibit was presented today at the Hall of Fame and shows some of the worst wrecked cars in this sport. That takes something.
I wouldn't want my car in there.
And yes, you can see the car that Angela Cope ran into, the 87 of Joe Nemechek, as they're working on the back end. Put a little tape on there. Now, we mentioned our over-the-wall man is J.D. Holcomb. He's the front tire changer on that number 2 for Elliott Sadler. And J.D., we didn't get a chance earlier, so let's do it now since we're under this caution. I know this is a special race for all you guys. I mean, we heard Elliott talk about the fact his mom is a breast cancer survivor, but this is also hometown for all you guys. So let's talk about how special and what extra effort you put into this.
Yeah, this is probably one of those races where every crew member up and down pit road, really wants to win just because of the family and friends that's here. And, with the Breast Cancer and Awareness Month, we're really going to push real hard and try to get to victory tonight.
And how many tickets did all your friends and family ask you to buy for them?
I lost count.
That's the downside, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, you guys be safe down there. Have a great race.
All right, thank you.
All right, the cleanup continues here, and I mean, it is massive all the way from the start-finish line and down through turns 1, 2, and down the backstretch, and there they are working on. So we're just going to step aside again. Hang in there with us. We'll get back to green.
Win.
High school football just down the road from our race here, but that brings up the topic of the Red River rivalry on ABC. David Ash leads the Longhorns into the Cotton Bowl, and they face a stiff test against Landry Jones and the 13th ranked Sooners. College football presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Number 15 Texas, number 13 Oklahoma. It's tomorrow at noon, 9 Pacific, and it's on ABC.
Good way to get the day started with college football right there.
That's going to be a great game. Look at those young men playing down there.
Well, remember those days. Barely I can, but I can.
All right, let's go back. We were talking about Austin Dillon and how restarts have been one of his bugaboos as he's been trying to get around them. Now let's go back to Dover because Casey Kane had a problem and Austin also got collected.
Yeah, we were talking about restarts and where Austin maybe struggles a little bit. This one right here, though, this was when Casey Kane's car stumbled on this start and really cost Austin Dillon. So he got into the back of him, was able to kind of get around, but it cost him a lot of spots.
And Dr. Jerry Punch has caught up with his crew chief, Danny Stockton.
Let's talk to Danny a little bit. Danny, your driver, the rookie Austin Dillon, does so many things well. But we're talking about how the starts and the restarts have been a bit of an issue, getting up to speed quicker. Why do you think there's a problem there?
Well, Doc, we're rookies. We're racing up against the best in the business here with Elliott Sadler and Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, and Ricky Stenhouse, and all these boys that been doing this for a while. And you just got to remember the kid's a rookie, and I'm a rookie, and a lot of the guys on this team are rookies, and it just takes experience, and that's all we're trying to do here tonight is gain experience and run every lap that we can, and restart every time we can also. And I guarantee next time we talk this time next year, we'll have it fixed.
All right, thank you very much, Danny. We'll check in with Vince Welch.
And I'm with the crew chief of the 6 car, and that's Mike Kelly, his driver Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Restart's been a little bit of an issue for you guys from time to time during the course of this season as well. And it's not really something you can practice, so how do you address it?
You know, that is one of the toughest parts about it. It's not like we can go out here during the middle of practice and ask everybody to give us some time so Ricky can work on his restarts. It's just something that comes with experience and coming with track time, and he has to try different things at different times and see what he can do to get the rear tires to bite. I think this race last year on the last restart, we started on the pole and had a misfortune on a restart and didn't get the finish we wanted. We've seen it happen at Dover last race. So he's been a lot better at it this season, and we'll continue to work on him all night, I'm sure.
Heard you give the team a little pep talk before this race began. How important is this race for your team in particular, but all these teams here in the Charlotte area?
You know, this is our race. It's in our backyard. All our family and friends get to come. The guys in the shop that don't generally get to travel with us. This is one of the ones you want to win. You want to be able to raise that trophy up when we get out of here. And I personally myself have never been on a team or won a race here in Charlotte. And it'd mean a lot to me and all my guys to get that done tonight.
Thanks, Mike. Marty?
All right, thank you, Vince. And for Ricky Stenhouse Jr., this is also a makeup race for him because if we go back to May, they had issues. And we said it yesterday, this isn't a beer can getting tossed out.
No, that's part of the drive shaft. It's kind of a weird failure they had here. It really cost him a lot. He had a good car that day.
Yeah, you don't see that happen that often with these things anymore.
He was running third in the broken drive line and had a 44-point lead as they ran over at that point. And, boy, then look what happened. Dover, Michigan, Road America, and he dropped 57 points to Elliott in that stretch.
Yeah, I think, but the positive they probably took from that, each of those races, it's not like they were running bad or ran bad in each of those and had those finishes because he had some good runs going, just some things happened.
Yeah, you turn the page on that and look at the next ones that came after that.
Yeah, remember that streak where he had 4 races, no worse than second. You know, we're getting ready to go back to green. How do you practice restarts?
You really can't. I mean, this is about doing it, you know, in competition. That's all that you can really do. There's no practice, time for that. And so you just have to try to get better, learn from it. I think that you pay attention to people around you, and that can help you a lot.
Well, what they don't want to do is try to put too much pressure on Austin to maybe be too aggressive on these restarts because that gets you in trouble. Then guess what? You don't get that experience. You fall out of these races and you don't get another 4 or 5 restarts under your belt.
Yeah, and I think when I brought that up about the initial start, he just didn't seem to get started, taken off that well. But he's in the outside lane, not the best place to be here on the start of this. Things are cold, the tires are cold, the racetrack's cool, so he's just taking it easy. He's being very smart, and maybe we're being a little too critical at times.
All right, well, I've got good news for you, Dale Jarrett. The Yankees won their game. I'm sure we had some viewers come on over.
That is good news. Yeah.
So I think it was 3-1 the final, and so the Yankees move on. And that gives us a chance to reset everything for you here. We have been under a caution since the very first lap. Angela Cope ran into Joe Nemechek, broke the radiator, broke the oil cooler, and we had tons of oil and fluid all over this track. Now we've got Elliott Sadler on the outside, and in row 2 you got Austin Dillon, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Row 3, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick. Then row 4, Sam Hornish Jr. and Kyle Busch. Pace car pulls off. There's row 5. Green flag is about to come out. And we'll see if this pays off for the 2.
And I think he did it because of the speedy drive that was put down on the inside of the racetrack this time. I will be surprised if he takes the outside again later on.
And it looked like it was going to backfire, but it didn't. He was able to hold on.
Right there.
That was close. As Ricky Stenhouse Jr. cut over in front of Joey Logano and then came awfully close to the 2 car. Now Logano and Kevin Harvick are side by side. That's the battle for 3rd. And there's Kyle Busch in the mix as well.
See on the entry to turn 1 back there, still just enough of that speedy drive, that white part down to the very bottom of the track to make these drivers a little bit nervous down there on the very bottom on the entry to 1.
So you got to hand it to Elliott Sadler, though. He really drove hard on the outside to keep that lead.
As he stated before the start of the race, he is a man on the mission, and we got caution again, and Sam Hornish has contact. And
he jumped out of gas and back into it. Coming to you guys right front.
So does the 31 have damage, Justin Allgaier, and these guys have had a little history from a few races ago where Sam was not happy with Allgaier, and I'm wondering if this flared up again.
Hey, Sam's got a lot of damage. Both these cars are damaged.
Sam, take it straight to the garage, bud. We're going to do some work on that fender.
4th and 5th in the points. They were running 10th and 11th with Sam in 10th. All right, let's go back and see if we can see what happened.
Well, you can see this is coming off the corner. Wow. That's racing at Charlotte, and I think Sam probably thought that he may have had enough speed that he had cleared. I think he's upset that Justin Allgaier, or this early in the race, didn't give him enough room there as he could see him coming up.
Yeah, that's the way I see it too. I think Allgaier should have given him that spot, especially this early in the race. If that's coming to the checker, it's a different thing, but this early.
Does the drop off on turn 4 have anything to play with that?
Creates a lot of that, because when that starts falling out, we've heard Rusty Wallace talk about it. When that track, when the banking goes away, your race car goes out towards the wall, and you need that extra room, and that's where you're depending on that driver. If you've got that much of your car ahead of him, he needs to back out, because nothing good's going to come of it, just like it did here. I will give Sam credit. It looked like he was going after Justin Allgaier after that accident happened, and he made a quick decision that wasn't in his best interest. Vince, what do you got?
Well, Justin Allgaier wasn't assessing blame per se, but he was immediately updating his race car. Said he did hit hard on that right side, but the steering wheel is still straight, so they're evaluating how much damage might be done. That certainly getting ahead of that game could help them once they get into the pits and start to repair some of that damage.
Yeah, they got a lot of damage, Vince. They've got the whole lower part of that nose separated from the upper. You can see he made contact with the wall down the right side. Left front fender is pretty well destroyed. They got a lot of work to do.
Well, if you remember, Justin had a terrible finish at Dover, came home 30th in that one.
They had a good run there, though. They had a
they weren't
really
running good, but it just didn't pan out.
Yeah, they broke suspension part.
You know, I like the aggressive nature of Justin Allgaier, but there are times in the races that you have to temper that back just a little and assess the situation, and you can come out of the throttle and give people a little bit of a break. Because, as you can see, it can create bad situations for yourself and your race team.
Trying to pull that fender out on the right front, checking up underneath, and that's the damage they got to worry about when they get done on the right side.
Break it off if you can, because it's got the nose held down there. There you go. Now pull the nose up as much as you can and get it hooked back together.
That nose is made in 2 pieces, and you can see that upper part is just separated from the lower. Gaping hole. That's going to really not be good performance if they don't fix it.
Start putting it on the seam of the nose there. Get it hooked back together. Well, let's hit the garage to fix it. The nose tore off of it anyway, so.
Cars are just into turn number 3, and they are taking him behind the wall. So they obviously have more damage that they're going to have to take care of. So Sam Hornish behind the wall. So now is Justin Allgaier, joining Charles Lewandowski, Angela Cope, 4 cars that are off the track. Whoa, wait a minute.
That's wrong garage area.
Oh, wrong garage area. Yeah, I don't think they can help you over on the Cup side. All right, so let's reset it for you. Again, it is Elliott Sadler, and he has taken the high side. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. down low. Again, Austin Dillon looked like he was a little slow on the restart. Dropped a few positions. But Ricky Stenhouse is shot to the front.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that choice of that outside lane. That's on restarts here. It's always been great to have that bottom. You can just stay in the gas so much more down the bottom.
Kevin Harvick now in third. Kyle Busch in the 54 in fourth.
This 6 car's been fast. I don't know that Elliott could have held him back from either side, though, the way he's been in practice so far.
On board with Joey Logano in sixth. Completed 17 laps. Unfortunately, 12 of them have been under caution. Side-by-side action now with the 22 of Brad Keselowski and the 54 of Kyle Busch.
See how this 54 Kyle Busch performs here tonight. Certainly been a trying year getting this new race team up and going. Do have the victory with his brother driving the car at Richmond back earlier in the year.
I like the way that 22 car looks right now, though. So we get down on the bottom and really dig.
Remember, Keselowski won the race back here in May. And he has a little more work to do tomorrow.
You can see right there that Brad was maybe a little further up than what Sam Hornish was on Justin Allgaier, but he was racing a veteran in Kyle Busch, who gave him a little bit of room there to make sure there wasn't any contact and create a bad situation.
Denny Hamlin trying to close in on his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate. Hamlin in that pink 18. Dollar General went all out. They had like 300 cancer survivors here pre-race, all decked out with pink flags, pink t-shirts. It was a sea of pink. These three have lost a little contact now. As you can see, Brad Keselowski's opened up some distance. The top three pretty much nose to tail. It's Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Elliott Sadler, and Kevin Harvick. There's your top 5. Our race is presented by GoDaddy.com. We're working lap 21 of 200. Back here at the Nationwide Series, our event presented by GoDaddy.com. We've knocked down 25 of the 200 laps. And let's tell you about tomorrow, because it's 7 Eastern. Sprint Cup Series. It's the Bank of America 500. It's on ABC. And our next stop on the NASCAR Nationwide Series next week at Kansas, 3 Eastern time, next Saturday. We'll be right here on ESPN. There he goes, first place, second and third across the stripe. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has now led a total of 12 laps. Elliott Sadler led 15. Some action going on as Brian Scott has worked his way around Danica Patrick and has put some pressure on Brad Sweet. Patrick running in 11th.
Yeah, Danica's had a good run so far. She had actually run up behind the 38 of Brad Sweet, having a little trouble getting by him, and then had allowed that 11 car of Scott to catch him. Got a good car, though. Look at Brian Scott's got a good car.
I was watching him during the commercial break. He has made a couple of passes and picked up about 3 spots.
Yeah, this is his type of racetrack with Brian Scott in this 11 car. He loves these mile-and-a-half tracks. Chicago's been one that comes to mind, to where he runs up front a lot. Look for him to be up there in the top 5 before this night's over.
Well, while all this action continues, Jamie has caught up with Sam Hornish.
Well, 2 heavily damaged race cars after just 13 laps back in the garage here, Sam. What exactly happened between you two?
I got cleared, and apparently I wasn't clear. So It's really unfortunate for not only all the guys on the work dodge, but feel bad for Justin and his guys too. Chris Osborne, my spotter, he does a great job, and he said as soon as it happened, he's like, that's all my fault. And, he doesn't make mistakes, and we all make mistakes. So being that it's his first one, I'm going to forgive him, and he spots for me not only on the nationwide but the Cup side too. So I got to have a lot of faith in him when I'm making decisions on where we're at, and it's just unfortunate that a bad call cost us as much as it is tonight. But we'll keep our heads up and try to make sure he keeps his head up, and we'll go into tomorrow.
Honest mistake by the spotter. They are going to try to get out. Meanwhile, Justin Allgaier is helping his team repair his car. Why? Well, he sits 5th in points, Marty. They're keeping their eye on the 43, who's been coming like a freight train trying to take that top 5 position.
You better tell him to hurry, because the way the race is running right now, he would end in 6th place in the points. The 43 would be ahead of him by about 15 with where the 43 is running right now. And that comment by Sam goes to prove just how important that spotter's role really is.
Yeah. And I've spotted here on this roof before, and it's that angle right there coming off turn 4 is really, really hard to call, especially when it's close. So I think, he might be beating himself up a little too much.
Yeah, it is difficult, and I think that's where you have to know as a driver at these places how difficult, and the places that it's going to be difficult for your spotter, and you have to be able to feel these cars and know exactly that you are clear. I know a lot of times they put a lot of faith in them, but ultimately it's your decision as that driver to know that you're far enough ahead to be clear.
Danica Patrick's got a run on Brad Sweet. She's running 12th right now. This is a good 4-car race going on. There's Mike Bliss in the 19, and he's going to snooker Danica. She had to get out of it because she was running up on Sweet.
Yeah, this is kind of situations that I've seen her struggle kind of the most in. You see Mike Bliss get really, really loose right there. But she run up on Brad Sweet a number of times before these other cars even got to him, weren't even really close to him, and she couldn't make the pass, and that's what she has to learn to do a little better job in.
Well, let's go back a little bit earlier, show you a replay involving Danica.
Working the outside, outside, outside. 38 is outside, 30 is outside.
And almost the same thing that happened again. She had to get out of it so much, she lost momentum and loses the spot.
But right there's when you have to take advantage. You've got that car in front of you loose. You got to stab the gas and get going. Get up beside him, take the spot.
Well, she's got it hammered down right now as she's trying to reel those cars back in. And that battle looks like it has calmed down for the moment. Brad Sweet ahead of the 19 of Bliss and the 7 of Danica Patrick. Let's go find our race leaders, check in on them as, Elliott Sadler has closed the gap. It was a full half second, and here comes Elliott making a run on Ricky Stenhouse.
Seen Elliott Sadler running that top side more. Ricky Stenhouse down the bottom more. Sadler's going to make this move work, it looks like. But I believe that helped Elliott Sadler save his tires a little bit. Not sure if Ricky Stenhouse maybe has run his car a little bit hard and the tires giving up some.
Robert Richardson, lap traffic. He tries to give way. Here it's allowed Kevin Harvick to also draw into this. Now a 3-car battle. Elliott runs up the hill a little bit.
That's where he's been getting the big runs. I think he wants to get back up there, see if he can get some momentum and make that pass on Stenhouse.
Still more lap traffic in front of the race leaders.
See, Elliott Sadler cut in a little bit soon. I know what he was trying to do was get some air to his nose as he entered turn 1 there to get the car to turn good. But he cut in a little bit soon, and that hurt him. He shot him up the hill.
And it looks like Kevin Harvick's going to take over that second spot, bump Elliott back to third. They're going around the 14 of Eric McClure. And in front of McClure is Stanton Barrett. In only his second nationwide race in about 2 years. Did a great job of qualifying just to make the show.
Yeah, he did. When he went out, he stayed up front for about, 18 cars before he finally got beat. That's pretty good. He hasn't been in a race car since last year.
Well, the race lead has sort of settled down, at least for the moment. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is in control. He leads all drivers in laps led on the 1.5-mile tracks, but there was a close moment right here. Hello. Want to get any closer?
Still hanging in line.
Page.
Back here at the Dollar General 300 at Charlotte. Remember to check out Race Buddy. It's enhanced coverage for select Nationwide Series races. We've got more cameras than ever. All you got to do, log on to NASCARNationwideSeries.com/RaceBuddy. Great battle going on for the race lead right now. The 6 and the 33 side by side. Look at Harvick working the wheel in that 33 car.
Dale jumped up. I thought he crashed, didn't he?
Well, no, I thought he was going to go over to the other county before he turned it back. Though Stenhouse drove it off in the 3.
While we were in the break, let's go back and show you. Harvick almost had the lead. He had a great run on him.
They got a little traffic here, and that keeps you from going to the gas all the way somewhat. I think Stenhouse thought Harvick might try to pass him on the inside, but no.
And we can tell you that he did get across the stripe with a nose in front of the 6 to officially lead a lap. In fact, you can see right about there. And then Stenhouse comes back and retakes the lead. So we've had 3 different leaders now. Here we go, all 3 of them. The 6, the 33, and now the 2 is sort of log jammed behind some slower traffic.
I passed him here. I want you to go tell him something. I'll have to run awful fast to catch him. No, I want you to go tell his spotter. He'll think it's funny.
I like that what it was.
Nice and loose tonight.
Well, I still wonder if, we'll have a little flashback of Atlanta. Remember, that's where Harvick led, dominated the race, and then Ricky got him late for the win.
It's going to be interesting right here. It's got lap cars all parts of the track.
That's Mike Wallace in the 01 making his 750th NASCAR start. Now, that's across all 3 series, trucks, nationwide, and cup. That's quite a feat.
Harvick got to be careful pushing Mike Wallace in the corner a little faster than what he's capable of going right there. Not that Mike's not capable of going that fast, but his car, obviously, he's struggling a little bit.
It's getting ready to be a little 4-car battle. That 22 car of Keselowski's actually catching this group, too.
On board with Sadler, he goes under the 01 of Wallace. And as Mike goes down, that means 22 cars are on the lead lap.
It's fun to watch Ricky Stenhouse drive through this traffic just wherever he needs to go. And it's in the gas the majority of the time.
Current top 5 have won 20 of the 28 races this season. The top 5 is Stenhouse, Harvick, Sadler, Keselowski, and Joey Logano. And of course, of that group, Logano leads with 7 victories.
You know, and with the man running 6th, you would think that we could add to that victory total most of the time, but Kyle Busch has yet to win this year.
Trying to keep that streak alive. He's had 8 consecutive seasons with at least 1 win. If he gets one, he would tie Mark Martin, but here we go for the lead as he got the 33 of Harvick going around, and he's going to clear. So Kevin Harvick makes it stick this time. Here comes Keselowski around Sadler. Elliott making that momentum high line work for him. He holds him off.
Boy, he gets a big run off of turn 4 right there. He's going to go to the outside of Stenhouse, it looks like.
And more traffic up in front. The 88 is one of those cars. Cole Witt's trying to stay on the lead lap. He's in a backup car. Here's this battle continuing. There's Cole. And that's Justin Allgaier, who has gotten back out on the track. And Harvick saying, guys, get out of the way. Everybody else is coming. Yeah. And Brad Keselowski on the high side, making it work for him.
I'm with you. I think Stenhouse kind of run the tires off that thing a little bit.
Well, if he didn't, it wasn't from a lack of trying, because he was driving it hard as he was dicing in and out of the traffic and trying to hold these other guys off.
So it's now Harvick, Sadler, Keselowski, Stenhouse, Logano. That's your top 5. One car down on the apron, heading for pit road.
Now we're going to see some green flag pit stops. They're starting now, Doc.
James Busher, the Daytona winner, said the car on a scale of 1 to 10 is about a 5, tight. The center off of the car so tight in the center, he can't get it up. When he tries to get in the throttle, he jerks the back end loose. Chassis adjustment, 4 tires, and fill it up with Sunoco fuel. Marty?
Kyle Fowler has also brought his car in. He's a lap down already. Busher going back out on the track. Mike Bliss is making a pit stop. So is Danica Patrick. Brad Sweet. Jamie, it's yours.
Danica Patrick pretty happy with their car so far. No chassis adjustments, just an air pressure. 4 tires, and they'll fill it up with Sunoco fuel.
So on lap number 55, we've got wholesale stops going on under the green. Vince.
That's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the 6. He says he's a 4 tight, doesn't have any front turn, or certainly not the amount that he would like to have. They're going to take a round out of the left rear in a 4-tire change. Dave?
Kevin Harvick gets it full of Sunoco fuel. He says it's a tick tight, but not much, so just air pressure adjustment for him. Meanwhile, Elliott Sadler, you saw him turn down as well. Sadler's car mostly loose. Rear grip needed off of the corner, so they make an adjustment for that. He also gets full of Sunoco fuel, a 4-tire change for the driver of the 2.
But they lost a lot of track position. The 2, it's going to be interesting to see how far back. Dave?
Brad Keselowski's car tight in the center and off the corner, mostly in turn number 2. Very minor adjustments needed for him. Looks like it'll be only air pressure for Brad at this point. He was running in the 4th position before this round of stops began.
16.8 for Keselowski. 11 of Brian Scott has also made his stop. He's going back out. Joey Logano right now is your race leader. He has not made a pit stop yet. Neither has Michael Annett, Joe Nemechek, or the 41 car of Timmy Hill.
This time, Joey, this time.
You heard the call. He'll be coming in this time around.
See you waving his hand. I don't even know his spot's for him. You'll be good.
He's trying to get his hand out to let him know that he is coming to pit road. Tight pit road, or tight entrance to it off of turn 4 here.
Michael Annett's made the turn on to pit road. Jamie?
He came in here 6th in points. They really want to make it into the top 5, and they're well aware of the problems with the 31 who they're trying to pass. Meanwhile, working on the right-hand side, he's saying they want to just free it up a bit, up 1 round on the track bar, 4 tires and fuel. Doc?
And now the leader, Joey Logano, comes in. He said, I'm about a 1 and 1.5 tight. He said, but really I lack front grip more than anything. Adam Stevens said, we're going to go down 1 pound of air in the right front tire. Left side tire is going on. Sunoco fuel, got to get it completely full of Sunoco fuel here to make the full 55 laps on a green flag stop.
Wow.
He's down to what?
14.3. That is a very good stop. Now, waiting to see how this all cycles through, because the one stop that was glaringly slow was the 2 for Elliott Sadler. Right now, Joe Nemechek is your race leader. He is still out there on his first tank of fuel. He's going to go another lap. We're going to step aside for a break. Our race tonight presented by GoDaddy.com. Well, some dramatic developments here at our Nationwide Series race presented by GoDaddy.com. After 63 of 200 laps, Kevin Harvick is in front of Brad Keselowski in that 22 car. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is about 2 seconds behind in 3rd. But Elliott Sadler came back out in 7th position after an extremely slow pit stop. Came in just 0.2 of a second behind, and right now he is 6 seconds behind the race leader. Let's go back and take you through the pit stop. And Andy, watch the clock.
You can see they come in here and jack up the right side. A good right side drop is around 6 seconds or so. Your power changer's done 20 times. You see that right front power changer putting on the lug nut. That's why that costs a lot of time. That right side drop at 10.6.
And total time of 18 seconds. And that's the difference right there. Why Elliott Sadler is now struggling to get back from 7th place now. And here is the comparison on the pit stops.
Yeah, 13.7. That's a good pit stop for Stenhouse. Really shows up on the track under green.
Did I do something wrong on that pit stop with the wheel turn? Light that fell off, man. We'll shake it off here. We'll be all right. Long ways to go.
And that is the one advantage. We're only 66 laps into this thing of 200.
Yeah, and Elliott was asking that because they had an issue at Dover in their last race where he may have not got the wheels exactly straight, and they had a little bit of an issue there. So Elliott's making sure that thought he was right, but wanted to make sure because he couldn't see exactly what happened over there. But championship team's got to do better than that.
And we can tell you right now, there are now 14 cars on the lead lap. Justin Allgaier, as we mentioned earlier, is back out, but there are about 9 cars that are either off track or out of this race. But this is the battle between first and second. The 33 of Kevin Harvick has it. The 98 right there is Reed Sorensen. He's a lap down, and the 22 is second place, Brad Keselowski. The lead has sort of settled down. It's 0.3 of a second. There's your top 5 as our race presented by GoDaddy.com as we get closer to halfway. Well, we've had our 9th lead change as Brad Keselowski has gotten around Kevin Harvick, and during the commercial break, a good battle between these two. Although now Keselowski has opened up about 0.2 of a second. Let's go back and show you exactly what happened.
You can see Brad Keselowski get a real run off of turn 2 here. Down into turn 3. Takes Harvick's spot. Harvick's been on the bottom of the racetrack the majority of the time. Take that first spot away and pull it away a little bit now.
We can also tell you that Mike Bliss in the 19 has pitted. He gave up 10th, and we're trying to find out what issue they had because he had plenty of fuel. When we get word, we'll pass it along. So that means right now we have a total of 12, now make it 11 cars on the lead lap as Brad Sweet and Ryan Blaney have just gone down a lap. There is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He is running in 4th right now. He is 5.8 seconds behind the lead. Vince, what do you hear on that 6th car?
Yeah, well, he runs it through 3 and 4. It's just way too loose all the way through. It's interesting. His spotter, Mike Kalanoff, veteran spotter, told Ricky, you're giving up too much speed when you run the bottom. You got to keep it wound up top. And Ricky replied, it's a 5 loose up there. I can't do anything with it up top. So they're going to have to fix him up at the next pit stop. He's not too happy with what he's got in his hand right now.
Yeah, Vince, I was wondering about that, watching him come after they made those green flag pit stops. He just didn't seem like he didn't have the speed that he had. You could report it a tight situation on that first run, and I was afraid they loosened him up a little bit too much. And I think that if he just ran the right front off of it, I think, the first time. I don't know if the car was all that tight, but he'll figure that out here. But he's got his hands full right now.
He is working that steering wheel.
I think we need that track bar down. 10-4 on that.
He's calling for the track bar down. That'll help tighten it up.
Yeah, it's always a good adjustment at this racetrack. Really makes a difference with these 24 degrees bank.
All right, we mentioned the fact that Mike Bliss had to come in for an unscheduled stop. Dr. Jerry Punch, what do you have for us?
Yeah, Marty having a great run and running in the top 10, now being shown back in 29th position. They think they got a broken shock absorber. He came in, the thing was bouncing, hitting on the splitter in the front there in the turn, and then bouncing coming up off. So he's trying to hang on. He may be coming back on the pit road here in a few laps, though, if it gets worse.
Of course, Bliss took over for Taylor Mousom in that 19 ride and finished 11th 2 weeks ago at Dover. But he's got his hands full right now. Here comes Austin Dillon as he is getting back into the picture, at least trying. And it's Elliott Sadler in the 2, Dillon right behind him in the 3. On board with Dillon. That's Jeremy Clements, lap traffic between them. Clements in that 51 is running in the 16th position, 1 lap down. Let's get an update on the 2 from Dave Burns.
Well, he had requested on that first stop to improve the rear grip, as you see Austin Dillon now diving down to the inside. And unfortunately, Elliott's reporting he's losing more and more rear grip. He says, I think I'm overworking that right rear tire. So they haven't improved the two yet, and now he's back in traffic.
Well, we made no secret about what Austin Dillon had to do. He's got to get in front of Elliott Sadler by more than just one spot. He's got to put a lot of ground between. Has to average about 5 positions or better over the course of the next 5 races. And actually, we talked to Austin before the race about scoring maximum points.
Just win races, take as much as we can get, ask for it all. I guess 5 wins to come out with a season. You know, try and be greedy at the end of the year. Try and take them all, just get points after points and go after them.
And just as that finishes up, the caution flag comes out, and it is Mike Bliss. We heard the problem from Dr. Jerry Punch, and obviously it got worse.
Yeah, they may have found out what it was here, right? Something must have broken. Mike Bliss doesn't just wreck a race car usually.
Let's go back and take another look at it.
Oh man, something happened to it right there.
He goes to the outside, and then the car's going to go down and hit the inside wall. I believe this might be at a part of the racetrack where there is no safer barrier. But he had gotten it slowed down quite a bit.
Let's take another look. Remember, we talked about as we watch. Oh, this is going to hurt. Is that inside wall? There's no safer barrier there. Remember, we talked about 1 out of 15 have been won by nationwide regulars.
Yeah, he's the one.
May 2009, his second win here at Charlotte in the Nationwide Series. He's the only one that would do it in the last 15 races. So we are under our 3rd caution here, as it'll take a little bit of time to get the 19 on the hook. Brad Keselowski is our race leader. He is one of 6 leaders that we've had, a total of 9 lead changes. And we are down to 10 cars. It'll be 11 as James Buescher will get the free pass back on the lead lap.
Elliott Sadler needs a lot better pit stop this time.
Let's send it down to Vince Welch.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr., upper left-hand portion of your screen, says he's a 3 on a 10 scale loose. So they're going to go down 2 rounds on the track bar. Air pressure in the left rear, 4 tire change. Doc?
Joey Logano is still very tight. Tried to free him up, didn't help it. 4 tires going up 1 round on the track bar. Dave Burns.
Keep your eye on Harvick and Keselowski. Harvick will take 4, so will Keselowski. Harvick says put it back where it was and tighten it up from there. The track is loosening. Keselowski says the center is better. It's now a little free off. They're gone from pit road.
And as you see, Elliott Sadler just getting off pit road now. 2 tires for Denny Hamlin. Picks him up 4. Austin Dillon gains 6. We'll see if that strategy pays off. And the losers, Keselowski and Harvick, lose 3 apiece. Stenhouse loses 2. Kyle Busch loses 2. Elliott Sadler comes back out where he started in 7th. So we'll step aside just for a moment. We'll reset the field. And this is why we're under our 3rd caution. A tough, hard hit for Mike Bliss. Charlotte, beautiful city, both in the nighttime and the daytime. NASCAR Hall of Fame in downtown. It's a pink night here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and everybody in pink. And some of them are a little happier than others. That's Justin Allgaier in the wall, and that's our most recent caution is Mike Bliss, as he has contact as well. And we've had 3 cautions now for a total of 16 laps. And a major development involving the 3 car of Austin Dillon, a pit road violation. Doc, what's going on?
Well, the guys here on pit road are actually re-watching the pit stop. NASCAR told them there was a tire violation. Actually, it was a tire changer violation. The rule is they got to be halfway back across the pit stall before the car leaves, and they run it back a couple of times. It looks like the right rear or outside tire man wasn't all the way back. He's making an adjustment. There he is. The car is gone, and they haven't come back yet with the equipment. So that's the violation. He had to come back in. They filled it up with Sunoco fuel and put left side tire on.
So it's going to move Austin Dillon back in the field as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. It is Denny Hamlin up front, Joey Logano alongside, and Hamlin has selected the outside. Harvick, Keselowski in row 2.
They're calling them close down there on pit road tonight.
That's a tough call to make in a championship battle. On board with Stenhouse in 6th. They are still running side by side.
Yeah, that's always the difficult part of this racetrack, these restarts, where you stay side by side. You're running top speed right here. These cars, especially on the inside, can get extremely loose. As you can see Joey Logano do as he watches up the racetrack.
Now we got it 3 wide. Keselowski's going to go way down low. So the 2-tire strategy has paid off for Hamlin, at least for the moment. He has got the lead. There's Harvick and Keselowski side by side for second. Elliott Sadler back in the mix after his first pit stop was less than stellar.
Yeah, that's a real break for Elliott Sadler and his team to be able to make an adjustment because the car wasn't exactly right and make up for that lost time on that pit stop under green.
Now the good news, if you're an Austin Dillon fan, he is only 3.7 seconds behind. He's in 10th place. That's because we only have 12 cars on the lead lap. Reed Sorensen stayed out to get the wave around. He got back on the lead lap. Look out, Brad Sweet across the infield and coming back up on the track, but everybody looks like they're going to be able to miss him, and our 4th caution flies.
Here, fired up here. Get these tires busted here.
Well, he's definitely done some agricultural racing, as you can see on the grill. You see the donut on the right side of the car, but I'm not sure that's what caused this one.
Yeah, I don't know. That'd be a big break for Austin Dillon, too, to get back up and restart with the lead lap cars. See what happens here.
It's Michael Annett in the 43, Blaney in the 36. Oh, he just got loose.
That's lucky. That wasn't a lot bigger than what it was.
And that could have collected both Annett and Blaney as well. But that thing really stepped out on him in a hurry. Okay, our previous caution involved Mike Bliss. Let's check in with Jamie Little. She's caught up with him.
Well, he's been checked and released. And Mike, Dr. Punch reported that something had broken on the car. So what happened there?
Well, before that, actually, when I did wreck, I broke something. We pitted. We thought it was a tire. I think finally something broke. I don't know, the right rear shock broke and then got in the tire and then punctured the tire, and then I just wrecked. But up to that point, our Geo Toyota Camry was pretty fast. I was pretty happy with it. It was really, really good.
All right, he's 8th in points coming into this race, and of course he'll be in the Cup Series race tomorrow, Marty.
Thank you, Jamie. Tough break for Mike Bliss, former Truck Series champion, out of this race tonight. And this looks like it's going to be a pretty quick caution, as Brad Sweet has made it back to pit road. They're banging on that right front fender.
Hey, Michael Annett did a nice job whenever 38 got into the side of him. Not right, boy, you can overreact to that sometimes and get everybody in trouble.
Yeah, he hit him hard, too. Looked like he did. That 43 is pretty rock solid, though. Didn't hardly move him out of the group.
Word is Michael Annett will get the lucky dog. That'll give us 13 cars back on the lead lap. And everybody will be chasing Denny Hamlin once again. And the 3 is coming down, and we're hearing it's going to be for fuel only. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Charlotte and the NASCAR Nationwide Series at Charlotte, presented by GoDaddy.com. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all of your latest NASCAR information. Currently under caution for the 4th time out at CMS. We're 93 laps in with Denny Hamlin out front, Brad.
Well, you know, it looked like that Ricky Stenhouse Jr., his tires fell off tremendously, but we got Denny out front. He's doing a great job, but I want to know what's going on with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Does this break give him an opportunity to get his tires cooled off, cleaned off? get back up front because he really looked like he fell off pace pretty big time.
Yeah, one of the other things that we've noticed tonight, you know, there's been some mistakes on pit road that have had a huge effect on the race. You know, the number 2 car with Elliott Sadler under green flag conditions had trouble on the right front. Actually, and we'll see it here, knocked the lug nut off on the right front and took a little bit extra time there. Had about an 18-second pit stop under green. Took him from running just a few tenths of a second behind the leader, all the way back to about 6 seconds behind. And then the 3 car, same way, tire violation. Didn't get the tire back in time. Car left, had to come back. And again, so one of the top teams, 2 cars fighting for the championship, mistakes on pit road.
And with the championship so close, you cannot lose that time on pit road.
No, you can't do it all. Exactly right, Nicole. I tell you, one guy I'm really looking at, though, is Denny Hamlin, the guy leading this race. And we talked earlier in the broadcast about he just really wasn't into wanting to run this car. He didn't feel comfortable running it. It was kind of pain. But, man, it makes you feel good when you're leading.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. Maybe
9 of the last 10 races here have been won by Cup Series drivers. Top 4 drivers right now. Who are they, Marty Reed? Cup Series drivers.
Yeah, it seems how those trends seem to keep coming back after all the stats that we throw out. Lights out on the pace car as we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. And we have a special guest in our booth that is coming up to join us. Gentleman, Ned Jarrett, Hall of Famer from the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Look at this. It's like old times.
Oh, I love it.
Happy birthday.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're 29, right?
Oh, well, yeah, about 3 times, almost 3 times that much.
Well, I'm going to tell you, it still look a lot better than him.
Thank goodness. I'll not comment on that.
Oh, okay. Hey, let's talk about this race. Who's impressing you so far?
Well, I tell you, I've had so many different things that I've been doing since the race started. I'll be honest, I'm pulling for Elliott Sadler. I just like the way he drives. I've known him for a long, long time, since he came into NASCAR, and would like to see him do well and win the championship this year.
He's going to restart 5th. Denny Hamlin leads him across the stripe, and boy, he gets a great restart.
Yeah, you can see there, Brad Keselowski spun the tires. He was the first car on the inside. Didn't get that thing up and going as good as he'd liked.
And Joey Logano took advantage. Moved into that 2nd spot. Kevin Harvick, that 33, he's got his hands full on the high side. That's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the 6th. And then there is Elliott Sadler in the mix as well.
Stenhouse gets a little piece of the wall off turn 4.
Yeah, saw the sparks. Didn't slow him down at all.
Not yet. You can see him followed by on the outside of Denny Hamlin, though.
That second groove seems to have come in here in the last 30 or 40 laps.
I'll tell you what, Joey Logano out front. And Denny, you wonder about the 2-tire change now?
Well, yeah, a little bit. I wondered about it when they did it. They were really the only one that started up front that did that. But, hey, you got to try it at some point. That was a good time to try to gain a little track position. Jamie, what are they thinking about that 2-tire change?
Well, crew chief Matt Lucas, you know, he hasn't won a race as a crew chief yet, so he's desperate to get a win. And what do you need to do to get to the front? Take a gamble, and they did that with 2 tires. Denny's saying it's okay as he's getting freight trained right now, pushed back to the 3rd position. But he said his car has just been tight, and they figured it's the middle of the race. Let's make a track bar adjustment and try 2 tires.
Sadler looks to clear him, and he does. The next guy closing is the 54 of Kyle Busch and the 33 of Harvick.
You know, I'm sure somebody will probably prove me wrong and make 2 tires work to win this race or something tonight. But this is a racetrack, especially with these cars, where they're having to drive them so hard in and through the corners with these tapered spacers to make speed. I think you want all the grip and need all that you can get.
Joey Logano, 7 wins out of 17 races this year, Ned. I mean, that's batting .420.
That's amazing.
It is, isn't it?
I mean, he's had a great year, and, well, he has good equipment, and he's a great race driver. Takes it all together to be able to do what he has done. But it's still, even as good as he and the team is, winning that many races and have the percentage of wins that he has is amazing.
Believe it or not, it is not the all-time best winning percentage. It belongs to Kyle Busch. Remember the year he won 13 races? He was batting .440 that year.
That is unbelievable.
Joey's not finished with this year yet.
Well, that's true.
We'll see.
Yeah, he was your pick at the beginning of the night.
Yeah, I wasn't sure Brad was going to be quite this strong, though. He's giving him everything. This is a great battle, these cars side by side.
This isn't the first time we've had this side-by-side action either, and here comes Keselowski to clear. So we've had 7 different leaders, 14, and it'll be 15 changes next time at the stripe. And here we go side-by-side with Kyle Busch in the 54 and the 33 of Kevin Harvick.
Well, those two had a lot of great battles.
Oh, yeah. See, I don't know that they touched, but at least the air got Kyle Busch a little bit loose right there on the exit.
Denny Hamlin getting back into the mix.
It's like these two drivers get together. They race each other just a little bit harder.
And here comes Austin Dillon. Now remember, he topped off fuel, and Andy, you were looking at the laps.
Yeah, it looked like they made a good move there by just coming in, topping off the fuel, and maybe able to make it on one more stop, and that could play into their favor.
This battle side by side as Dillon tries to take over the spot. Let's check in with Dr. Jerry Punch on the 3.
Andy, you are exactly right. And the man standing beside you up there, Ned Jarrett, used to be the best at calculating fuel mileage. And guys, that coming in and topping off for Austin Dillon lets him go with one more stop and a 3-lap buffer to the checkered flag. That could be huge for the youngster trying to gain points tonight.
A whole lot easier to pass from the pits, isn't it, Ned?
It is, yes.
When they're sitting in the pits and you're not.
Yes.
Still trying to get underneath Brian Scott. He does. He finally gets around him. Meanwhile, Brad Keselowski has opened up a 0.4 of a second lead over second place Joey Logano. And let's go back and show you a moment that he had.
Ooh. Not only got close to that wall, he hit the wall.
He did brush it from Joey Logano's on board.
Nothing big, just a little. It's all good, man. Don't worry about it. 97, 30-12 behind you.
He's pulled out a half a second since he hit the wall. I don't think it hurt it too bad.
Must have helped the aerodynamics.
Narrowed it up a little bit.
And we saw Stenhouse try to move that wall out just a little bit right before Keselowski hit it.
You know, and I know a lot of people question Brad Keselowski leading the Sprint Cup points, coming here, running a nationwide series race, but he loves to do this. He has a commitment to sponsors and to this race team to do that much, and he likes to race. He'd rather be out here than sitting back on the couch watching this thing tonight, because he says there might be something that he finds here tonight that he can take away that will benefit him tomorrow night.
Ned, it was different in your day, but if you were in this generation, would you want to be doing what Brad's doing?
Yes, if I was his age,
yeah.
Yes, I would want to be doing that, because, as Dale said, there's something that you might not even know about that you can pick up that could help tomorrow night, even though there's a lot of difference in these cars, in the horsepower and other aerodynamics and other things that they don't compare that well together, but you can still learn something about the racetrack, or there's just something that might pop up that you don't even realize.
Get a look at the 88 of Cole Witt. He is 1 lap down now. He's in the lucky dog position. Of course, he had a tough break in yesterday, as right in the final practice. He ended up spanking the wall and had to go to the backup car.
Yeah, he was anything but a lucky dog yesterday. They broke a Heim joint on the sway bar, and that thing went straight in the wall and ruined their primary car.
Yeah, he got a lap down here on that first set of runs there during the green flags. And I'm sure the car wasn't very good, but they've had a couple opportunities to make some adjustments, and he's running some pretty good speed. So he needs just a little bit of good fortune here to get himself back on the lead lap.
We can tell you that Sam Hornish Jr. has just pulled back out onto the racetrack. He is 93 laps down in 41st position, but still trying to pick up points wherever he can. Brad Keselowski, the race leader, now a full second. That might be the biggest lead we've had all night tonight.
Might have been that last adjustment, Marty.
Yeah,
he made against that wall.
Right against that wall. As he's got the lead over Joey Logano and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And at the points leader coming in, Elliott Sadler. Our race tonight presented by GoDaddy.com.
Pete.
Well, don't forget tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, Bank of America 500 here at Charlotte. It'll be on ABC. And our next stop is at Kansas for the Nationwide Series, 3 o'clock Eastern, next Saturday, right here on ESPN. And that was the Hall of Fame, and we have Hall of Famer Ned Jarrett right next to us in the booth. He's in the house tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Battle for second place is really getting close here, Ned.
Yes, it is. Stenhouse moving down on the inside, making it work for him. Looked like his car is sticking well there.
And that would cut the points lead to 6 right now with the way they are currently running on the track. Elliott Sadler would still have the lead, but we still have a few laps to run.
It looks like maybe they made an adjustment to tighten that 6 car up for Ricky Stenhouse. Said he was pretty loose on that last run. So they made some adjustment and got him back up there. Might be enough to get him up to where you can see Brad Keselowski in battle for the win.
He was fastest car on the last lap. This time he is the 3rd fastest. You like all this technology we have up here, Nick?
Oh, I love it. I don't know how to operate it all.
Don't worry, we don't
understand it.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
Yeah, in my days of broadcasting, we had the small, maybe 12-inch screens, black and white.
Manual scoring.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Benny Parsons and I would try to help figure it out best we could.
Yeah, and then I've always remembered, Benny, they are commencing to reckon.
Yeah, you pit stopped for time with your stopwatch, weren't they?
Yes,
yeah.
we were.
Yeah, you always had a stopwatch with you up in the booth.
I was absolutely lost without having a stopwatch around my neck.
All right, let's check in on our race leader, Brad Keselowski. He has now opened the lead up to 1.6 seconds over Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Let's go up to speed with Nationwide Insurance. Get the latest. How about it, Dave Burns?
Well, a little hot right now for Brad Keselowski, about 270, something on the grill of that race car. But let's flip back a little bit to Kevin Harvick in the 33 car. Remember in May, he led 92 laps here. And on a late series of pit stops, strategy, some guys took 2, they took 4. They ended up back in the pack. He was never able to recover from that. I thought they had that licked earlier today because he drove from mid-pack to the front. But they're still a little bit tight in traffic at this point, trying to make their way forward. Vince?
Running 7th right now is the 54 of Kyle Busch. He's the all-time wins leader in this series, but he's not yet gone to victory lane as a driver for his own team, Kyle Busch Motorsports. In fact, Rick Wren, the team's GM, told me today, I'm not a guy who counts on luck, but I'd sure like to have some tonight. They haven't really had much. They had a slow pit stop last time around, and they've also had a communication issue.
35, good lap, made around 30, 45 and 50s in front. I have no clue what lap time I'm running because I can't hear you. You key up too late.
So they're working on that. The good news for Kyle is that he says the balance in the car is good, and it's gotten better as the night's gone on. Doc?
And Vince, how about the kid right behind Kyle Busch? We call him the kid in the cowboy hat. Impressive rookie Austin Dillon came in tonight, 3rd in the point standings, 25 points back, qualified in the front row, had trouble at the start, trouble on the restart, lost about 7 or 8 spots, came on the pit row, had a tire violation, had to restart as the last car on the lead lap at 12th, but they came back in and topped off in fuel, which may be a strategy move. If we stay green, it may help him have a great finish or maybe steal a win. Jamie.
And Danica Patrick running 10th right now. She started this race 11th. Now this is just the 3rd race working with her new crew chief, Ryan Pemberton. But this is the first time they feel like they've really been able to click and move forward and make some progress in their communication and the setup on the race car. Now as far as 1.5 mile tracks, Danica has 3 top 10s. So they expected a good run tonight. She's saying she's just a little loose getting in. They're going to make a track bar adjustment on the next stop, Dave.
Jamie, you heard at the beginning of our Up to Speed me report on the 22 of Brad Keselowski running hot. The crew is now behind the wall, getting the pressurized water system ready. The big guy is Tommy Chandler. He just ran through the shot there. He is the engine tuner. Now these guys going to work, including quite a few of the guys down here. It is covered on the front of the grill. They had something on that they tried to get off on the last pit stop. They told me it was not over an opening, but there it is. It certainly is. And Brad said it's gone up to 270 climbing, and he's losing power in the 22 car.
1.3 seconds is the race lead, and you can see it on the screen.
Yeah, you can certainly see it. I'm not sure about losing power. He just ran the quickest lap of anybody on the racetrack.
Right now it's up to 1.4 seconds. So far he's still able to keep the pace, but for how long? We're going to step aside for just a moment. There's your top 5 as we've knocked down 124 laps. It has been a great night of racing so far here at Charlotte Motor Speedway in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. 7 different leaders, 14 lead changes, and with 71 laps to go, yeah, it's getting hot. Hot on pit road, hot out on the racetrack, and hot in the cockpit of the race leader, the 22. Well, we got a quick moment. Let's remind you about SEC football action on ESPN tomorrow. It is the 3rd-ranked Gamecocks as they take on the 9th-ranked Tigers. A couple of great coaches there. Steve Spurrier, Les Miles. Everybody's going to be wanting to watch this one. It's college football prime time. It's presented by Hampton Hotels. South Carolina versus LSU tomorrow at 8 on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app. And we've got a debris caution on the racetrack. So our 5th caution of the day comes with 69 laps to go. That's outside the window, crew chief.
For some people, for a lot of them, I think it was about 70-some laps, 73 laps. Brad Keselowski went to win this last race. So this might just be playing right into his hand.
Well, I'll tell you, it's going to give them a chance to take care of the front radiator opening, because there was definitely some debris on there, and the temperature got up to 270, but Brad's lead had gotten all the way up to as much as 1.8 seconds. And is that a piece of aluminum?
Yeah, it's a can of some kind that's out there, and that definitely can be a hazard.
Looked like another piece off to the left of it. Ned, while we get ready for these pit stops, I know you want to get going. You got another appointment. Thanks so much for joining us here in the booth. It's always great to see. It brings back so many great memories for everybody out there, I know. And congratulations again on your birthday.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Mark. It's a pleasure to come up here. Thanks for having me. And ESPN is still high on my list as far as broadcasting.
You're welcome to stop by anytime.
Thanks a lot, Ned. Thanks for coming by.
So we'll get ready for pit stops here. And we'll watch all the action that takes place, especially on that 22, as Brad Keselowski gets an opportune moment. And we'll find out just how far the gas mileage will go, I guess.
Yeah, more than that.
Well, that is a lot.
Yeah, that looks like maybe a piece like off of Allgaier's front end. It's that Bear Bond, and that's why
We're not going to
probably so
much
stubborn
here,
coming off. That's just got a lot of
we're going to get one piece.
glue on it.
That should, if we were to pull 2 pieces, it's only going to get us about 20 degrees. So we're going to try to get 1. If we can get 2, we will.
Okay, they're talking about how many pieces of tape they're going to be able to pull.
Yeah, I think if they just get that piece of debris off, it'll be
that's
fine.
the main piece, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cole Witt's going to get the free pass. That'll give us 14 cars on the lead lap. Here comes everybody down pit road. And we'll get ready to see who ends up coming out of pit lane first. Vince, you're up.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr., upper left-hand portion of your screen, hitting the boxes. It's a little tight, roll in the center, and a little free off. They're going to go down around on the track bar. Slight air pressure adjustment in the right front. Doc?
Lower left, Joey Logano up 1 track bar. Still tight. Can't get to turn in the middle of the corner. Dave Burke.
4th place, Elliott Sadler, lower right. His car is a little tight, a little loose. They'll make an adjustment for that with track bar. Meanwhile, Brad Keselowski's crew will make the 4-tire change. No chassis adjustments, then go to work, pulling tape on the front. And they do get 2 pieces off, top and bottom, on the left side of the grill.
Elliott Sadler's crew comes through for him when he needs them most. They pick up 3 spots. And then Denny Hamlin and Austin Dillon also pick up 3. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., the big loser, as he goes down 7. And as we go to break, let's watch J.D. Holcomb, front tire carrier on the number 2. This was a good stop. Beautiful night in Charlotte as we are getting down to the nitty-gritty on this one. 5 races remaining here on the NASCAR Nationwide Series. 65 laps to go tonight. And let's go and take a look at what happened to the 6 car during this pit stop when they lost 7 spots. Now watch the clock and keep an eye on the rear deck.
See, a pretty normal stop at this point. These guys have been doing a good job tonight.
Made a quick adjustment on that right rear.
See, they got a little damage on this right rear corner of the spoiler. They want to fix it. See, they've got a hammer. Was that hammer on the inside half of the pit box when they left? That's equipment, right?
You're just trying to stir up
Well,
trouble.
I'm just saying, they're calling it close down there. They're calling it close for some.
But see, they did not make the repair, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tried to push that up there where Ricky had gotten into the wall and hit the edge of that spoiler.
Really? We're going to wait on that. The spoiler's knocked off the right rear. You got to let me know these things. Well, we don't need to sit here and fix it. I'm driving just fine. We were running third.
So not only do they not make the repair, they lose 7 spots in the process. And so now, we'll sort it all out for you. Joey Logano will be bringing him down for the green flag. He takes the high side. Elliott Sadler inside. Harvick and Hamlin in row number 2. Last time we did this is exactly what we saw. A lot of side-by-side for the first full lap.
Yeah, your tires will hold up in the grip wheel. Logano's really been making this high side work for him probably about the last 60, 70 laps of this race.
And he and Harvick start to pull some ground, but here comes Sadler back. Now we mentioned we have 63 laps to go. Remember the spring race, there were 73 laps to go. But 16 of those 73 laps were run under yellow. So right now, everybody's looking at those and saying, we got to have some yellow flag laps to make it to the end.
Well, Elliott Sadler really making this bottom side work. I thought he might slide up behind Harvick coming off a 2. He had a hole, but he slid up in front of him. Now Harvick trying to go back to the inside.
Kevin's got to run, but Sadler's got the momentum. Denny Hamlin right beside or behind those two in that $18 General car. And then you've got Keselowski.
Now Hamlin's car tonight seems to run okay for maybe 10, 15 laps, and then he kind of falls off the pace a little bit. We'll see if they've made an adjustment to help him out.
One thing they did that time, put 4 tires on. I think that'll help. They did that 2-tire strategy there. Seemed to be okay. 4 tires might be better for him.
Let's talk about the Keselowski strategy. Did you agree with taking 2 full pieces of tape off?
Not really. I think all they needed to do was just, I'm not sure the crew could see that debris that was on there. It was black, looked just like the grill. I think they thought they just needed to get tape off when they actually had a big piece of debris on it.
Austin Dillon, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 2 of the 3 in the championship hunt for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Right now, Dillon would be 31 points behind, and Stenhouse would be 15 points behind Elliott Sadler. And the laps are starting to wind down. Just 60 to go.
And Dillon's been trying to dig out that hole. He got penalized on pit road for having equipment on the wrong half of the pit box. He's starting to make his way back up.
Yeah, that was at a time, too. It would have been interesting to see how 2 tires would have worked for him, but he was going to start right up on the front row.
All right, let's talk a little bit more about that last pit stop with the 22. Dave Burns, what are you hearing?
Well, Marty, as we take a look at the end of that pit stop, we can clearly show where Jeremy Ogles, the front tire carrier, was able to reach around and grab 2 pieces of tape off. First, he reaches left hand for the top piece and then grabs the second one as it leaves and falls to the ground. I checked with Jeremy. He is okay. And Andy, this to noodle on, that piece of debris was over on the right side. They didn't touch that, so it stayed plugging up when it was plugging up. They felt like they needed to get 2 off on that left side to do the cooling.
Yeah, if they could just hit that debris, if they could have pulled that off of there, they'd have been fine right back where they were. I'm not sure that they knew it was on there before they pitted. I'm sure he saw it at the last minute, but you can see he can't hardly reach across all the way to the right side of the car from that left side.
Remember before, he was like in the first 2 fastest every lap. He wasn't even in the top 3 on this one. Does it change the handling characteristics when you take that much tape off?
Well, he still got blockage from that debris, so I'm just wondering now whether they've got enough tape off to keep it cool.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. We'll see here. Frank right now, knowing that he probably needs to save some fuel to make it to the end. You can't tell about this young man. He's cagey. You know, we don't know what he's thinking all the time out there. But it could affect the handling. To answer your question, it could. Just that little bit could make a big difference in how that race car drives.
Well, I tell you, this is a great battle ensuing. There's your top 4, and second and third sort of leaning so close as Harvick narrows the gap, tries the high line again.
It's a better run for Harvick. He had a great run the first part of the race, and then had a kind of an off run the last one. He looks like his car's back where it was.
You can see he had to kind of walk it off the corner there. He was trying to use that second lane up there to get some air on the nose of his race car. Elliott Sadler's stuck to the bottom this entire run, and Harvick was trying to get a little bit of air to help his car turn just a little bit, but it made him pretty loose on the exit of 2.
Saw Joey Logano streak through as you go on board with Brad Keselowski. Logano way up there. He is 0.7 of a second ahead of second place. And Joey looking to make it 8 wins in 18 starts on the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and he was your pre-race pick.
Well, if that just, a lot of that came from just looking at this season. How, he's won races where he's dominated. He's done a good job at the end of some races. Now we see Kevin Harvick try to go to the inside of Elliott Sadler, trying to take that second spot away.
Side-by-side action, Harvick and Sadler. These guys have been going after each other now for several laps, and Harvick finally pulls even. Can he get ahead of him? And he does. So move Harvick into second, Sadler to third. We talked at the beginning of the broadcast how Cup regulars have dominated this event in the last 15 years. They've won 14 times. First and second and fourth are Cup regulars. And fourth is trying to become third. And it looks like Keselowski's going to do it.
Might start answering some of our questions about whether it's affecting the handling of that 22.
Dave Burns, what are you hearing on that 22 now?
So, Marty, with everything else going on with the 22, they did manage to tell Brad that he was 10 laps short on fuel. I don't even think Brad can save that much. And as you saw, he is being aggressive at the wheel. In fact, they asked him to give a car condition 2 laps ago coming down the front straightaway, when he said, "It's fine, I'm focused." So you knew he was going after these guys, and I believe they're going to wait and put a splash in it late.
Well, and remember what we talked about a few moments ago. 16 of those 73 laps in the spring race in May were caution laps under yellow. So it sounds like they are going to need another caution to be able to go this distance.
Yeah, that's an extremely long time to try to go. And as good a few miles they get, and as good as Brad is, be tough.
All right, so right now it is Joey Logano by 0.7 of a second. He's out in front of Kevin Harvick and Brad Keselowski. Logano trying to make it 8 wins this year. Stay with us to find out if he can do it.
NASCAR Nationwide Series at Charlotte is presented by GoDaddy.com, the quick and easy way to get your business or personal website online.
Beautiful night in Charlotte, and look at the battle for the race lead. It is closing. Kevin Harvick has narrowed it from 0.7 of a second to he's now looking to take the lead.
Yeah, Andy, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said he's got this thing pretty much like he wants it now.
Yeah, that last run, I don't know if they made an adjustment or whether that set of tires just didn't agree with them, but the last one wasn't very good. This is more like we saw at the first part of the race.
Here comes Brad Keselowski. Now, we heard the fact that they needed to save 10 laps. Andy, who was best for you at saving, and could they save anywhere close to 10 laps on a 1.5-mile track?
Oh, Harry Gant was one of the best ever at that. We won quite a few races on fuel mileage, but no, 10 laps. I don't think there's any driver that can save 10 laps and still race at speed. They'll need caution laps to make that work. I think we're going to have to see some green flag pit stops for fuel if we don't see a caution.
Little wiggle there by Joey. Not able to take advantage was Brad Keselowski. Let's get an update on the 33. How about it, Dave?
Well, I want to let Andy know that the adjustment that hurt him was a track bar and air adjustment a couple stops ago to tighten him up. The one that helped him was this last one, a track bar back, because it was tight at the start of that run and loose at the very end off of turn 2. So it was going back on that track bar adjustment, I believe, that woke up the 33 car.
Boy, it did wake it up, Dave. It's back like it was. He's still going to have to. He's got to hold off Keselowski, though. I think he's going to be his biggest competition closing in here.
Yeah, and I'm not sure Logano's through with this. I was really surprised to see him run the bottom of the racetrack as long as he did right there, because the run before, whenever he was running really well, he ran the middle to the top of the track, both ends, and was making a really good time.
You're on board with Joey right now. First, second, and third, literally that close. They're all in your screen. Boy, from that angle, it doesn't look like he can close on him, at least down that stretch. It's a 24 David Starr lap vehicle.
You can see right there the run that Joey Logano, that's the highest that I'd actually seen him up in turns 3 and 4. He made a huge run down the straightaway there.
They get around John West Townley, the 99. A few laps ago, he brushed the wall, did not bring out the caution.
Yeah, he had been on the lead lap until he got into the wall. If Logano can make this work again and get this huge run.
Well, he's all the way up there.
It looks like he's closing from here. Here he comes.
So what does he do? Drive to the bottom.
And gets a little loose.
Trying to make it work, though. Hadn't lost contact there yet.
Look at this great action between first, second, and third. They're all right there.
I think Brad was trying to sucker him into that going low, but I don't think he knew he was going to take the lead sliding up. But here comes Harvick.
Harvick's going to try and cross right under. Coming to the stripe. Who's officially going to lead this lap? It'll be Kevin Harvick.
Got him, yeah.
We've had 16 lead changes tonight, 7 different leaders. And who says the mile-and-a-half tracks are cookie cutter and boring? This has been a good race tonight.
You know, I think something that benefits these nationwide cars, we see Keselowski now wants to lead. Dives to the inside, but you know they run these tapered spacers. They've got quite a bit less horsepower than what the Cup cars have. I think that makes for great racing here. You know, speed's not always the best thing for good close racing, and you know these cars don't run quite as fast, but they have to drive the heck out of them through the corners.
Going around Mike Wallace again. It's been a bit of a long night for Mike. The 01 is now 4 laps down in 24th position. Got a total of 14 cars on the lead lap right now. This has certainly been the most exciting part of it going on right now between these 3. There is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. as he is now running in the 8th position, and he has fallen 5 seconds off the pace.
30, 39, 44. I don't care about lap times. A 32, great lap. Same lap time as the leader. I don't want those.
What do you make of it?
He's frustrated. He was running third. They spent some time to try to fix some obvious damage they had and lost track position. He's not happy about it.
He's gained 2 spots since the restart back on lap 137. And if you look at the points right now, there you see how they shake out as Stenhouse would be 13 points behind. Let's get an update from Dr. Jerry Punch. I'm sorry, let's go to Vince.
Well, Doc, Marty, not only is he frustrated inside between the ears, but he also has a race car that's giving him a little bit of fit as well. Says it's just too tight, dead center. Trying to make something happen with it, sees how far behind he is from those that he's chasing, and he's got a car that's not doing what he wants it to do, just adding to the frustration of Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Thank you, Vince. As we pointed out, their points so important at this stage. Austin Dillon 29 markers behind, but what really Elliott Sadler wants, he's running 4th right now. He wants this win tonight because of his mom being here. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but he's got some work to do because he's got to track down the hottest man in the Nationwide Series. His name is Joey Logano. Hey, want to remind you, tomorrow 7 o'clock Eastern, it is the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. It's the Bank of America 500 right here at Charlotte. It's on ABC. Our next stop on the Nationwide Series will be at Kansas next Saturday here on ESPN, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Laps winding down, 28 to go now here at Charlotte. Our race leader Joey Logano has a 1.3 second lead over Brad Keselowski. Then it's another second back to Kevin Harvick, and Elliott Sadler runs 4th. Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch round out your top 6.
Think you got to save? We're trying to fill one here, Kevin. We need about 9.5 laps total. Think I can slow down that much? Okay, Zephyr, we'll race them hard. We're just out. We'll beat them here on pit road.
And that's exactly what we were talking about earlier. Nobody can save 10 laps of fuel.
No, can't slow down that much.
So, and then the team's saying, okay, we'll beat them off pit road. So now, when do you make your stop?
No, you don't want to make it too early in case the yellow comes out and you get caught down a lap or having to make up track position. But you want to try to get this thing done without running out of fuel. I mean, you don't want to let the thing run all the way out.
Well, here's a statistic that I'm sure every crew chief is aware of. Final green flag stretch, 12 laps or less in 14 of the last 17 races. So the odds are you're going to get that yellow. Doc, what do you hear on that 20 car?
Well, Adam Stevens keeps talking to Joey Logano and telling him, we're going to be short. First he said we're 8 laps short. We said we're 7 laps short. Now we've said they're 6 laps short. I guess they keep calculating they might make it. But really, in essence, what's going to happen is they told Joey to stretch out from the 22 as much as you can. Run as hard as you can absolutely run right now. We are absolutely 6 laps shy of making it. When we make that pit stop, we need all that room we can get on the 22 and the 33.
That room right now is a minute or 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, I'd say he listened well when they told him to stretch it out because he put the pedal down right there. What we'll have to see on these green flag stops, these people up here at the front racing for this tough pit road to get on. You have to slow down a lot from 180 miles an hour. Who will make that mistake on pit road of speeding?
Yeah, 45 is the speed limit on pit road. There is Kevin Harvick right now running in third, 2.4 seconds behind the race leader. Fastest car on the racetrack last lap was Joey Logano. Second was Elliott Sadler. Third, Brad Keselowski. This time by, Keselowski was fastest. Logano second quick. The 18 we're hearing on pit road, Jamie.
Well, Matt Lucas said we have nothing to lose here. Let's do gas only. Denny Hamlin said no, I want right side. So it was a splash and a couple tires.
So Hamlin comes back out.
Well, if you're going to use that strategy, if you're going to come in now, it would be good to put tires on, try to make up some of that time.
You know, and I think that might be twofold for Denny Hamlin. And I'll just throw this out that I think that maybe he felt like that car might have been too tight, abusing that a little bit. He wants a little bit of security there. He's got a Sprint Cup championship to try to win. And if that thing's anywhere close to wearing out the right front, he didn't want to take any chance at that if they had to come get fuel anyway.
So Hamlin the first to blink. Who will be next? Joey Logano's lead is now down to 1.1 seconds. Keselowski has picked up the pace.
Yeah, Logano's been having to deal with some traffic. I think that's the biggest thing. There's a lot of lap cars out there to deal with. He's kind of caught a few of them at the wrong spots, and it's kind of slowed his progress a little bit.
Keselowski picked up another 10th on that last lap. Logano gets around the wounded 31 of Justin Allgaier. He was involved in an earlier race incident with the 12 of Sam Hornish. Logano coming up on Stanton Barrett. Barrett now 6 laps down and running in the 29th position. Kevin Harvick, you saw him there for the moment. There he is in third. Now he's going to be approaching all this lap traffic as well. Behind Harvick is Sadler in the number 2 car, and then the 54 of Kyle Busch. Still that same gap, about 5.5 to 5.8 seconds. Behind Kyle is the 3 of Austin Dillon
on pit road.
And Austin is coming on pit road, so he is the second to blink.
So all 2 tires, keep coming.
Let's send it down to Dr. Jerry Punch.
He turns hard left. He'll jam on the brakes. Clock starts. Going to get gas in. Only right side tires. 3 seconds, 5 seconds. Want to get out in under 8 seconds if they can. And they've done it. 7.3. And he's away.
So the second car to take 2 tires. Denny Hamlin was the first. And we have 18 laps to go. And Joey Logano's lead is back up to 1.3 seconds.
It'll be interesting to see what these leaders do as far as just fuel. Are they going to have to put right sides on, or are they seeing enough wear down there in the pits that it tells them that a full stop may be pushing it to have to even if it's somewhere around 10 laps.
Well, Andy, I'm looking at the lap times. Denny Hamlin 30.7 and Joey Logano's last lap was 31.1.
Yeah, I'm watching that too, Marty. I don't think there's a lot of speed in those right side tires.
Let's send it down to Dr. Jerry Punch again.
And it was Reed Sorensen making his final stop. Apparently new race team running really, really well. They had a good run at Atlanta and having another good one here tonight, trying to make their final stop. Gas only about 3 seconds.
So as he comes back out, we're still waiting to see when the leaders up front will make their final stops. 16 laps to go now, and Keselowski is narrowing the gap. He's got some lap traffic to deal with.
Top 4 cars running in the 30-80s. Looking at Denny Hamlin's lap times with those new right sides, he's only running at just in the mid-70s, so it's about a 1/10 of a second that he's beaten them, so it's not a lot.
Keselowski fastest on that last lap, now second quick on this one.
And if these guys are going to just take on fuel, they have to be extremely careful coming to pit road, not to slide those front tires. Looks like Logano may be coming to pit road this time.
Yeah, I don't think he's waving to everybody saying hello. He's ready.
Okay, you can't lock him up.
Got to get all you can, though.
On pit road, gentlemen.
Good job so far.
Right side, go on the jack. Right side, you sure not fuel only? Yes, sir. 10 away.
Doc?
Here they go. Several teams in final practice have seen some cords exposed in the right front tire. Not wanting to take a chance here with Joey Logano. Right side tires, 4.5 seconds of fuel, he's away.
6.3 for the total stop. That's pretty doggone good.
Yeah, that's a good quick stop.
Yeah, I was questioning putting 2 tires on him. If you're going to do it that quick, why not?
So Logano surrenders the race lead to Brad Keselowski. You saw Brad go by, but remember, he's going to have to stop as well.
Now, if Brad's been saving fuel and they know they get good fuel mileage, they can wait longer. They won't have to be on pit road very long.
Yeah, they'll need just a little splash.
Keselowski's lead over Harvick, 1.1 seconds.
See Elliott Sadler hitting pit road along with Kevin Harvick.
That's Cole Witt right in front. Now, Witt trying to stay on the lead lap. Here comes Harvick down pit road, followed by Elliott Sadler. Vince, it's yours.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. coming to the pits for his final time. They were short on fuel just as everyone else is. Right side tires and 1 round in the right rear. Dave?
Kevin Harvick has never won here in the Nationwide Series. You see he got fuel only. Elliott Sadler, a championship on the line. He also received fuel only.
So they come back out onto the racetrack, and still Brad Keselowski is doing it again. You just heard the call. Going to pit this time. So there'll be 10 laps to go.
I think Logano's team opened the door up for him here.
You're behind you.
By taking those 2 tires, they can get gas and go, maybe seal a win.
I don't think they came out ahead of Logano, though.
7's in, Jamie Little.
And Danica Patrick wanting actually an adjustment here, track bar adjustment. They're going to go up a little bit. You see it go in the window in the back right side tires, and 1 can of fuel, Dave.
Brad Keselowski feels like going through traffic. He really abused his right front tire. So look for them to possibly change right sides. That was the call early on, and they're not going to do it. It's going to be fuel only. Brad's going to have to live with it. Just a few seconds of gas, and they pull it free, and they don't believe that they got enough in there.
Well, we'll have to find out later. James Busher is in. Doc.
There's about 2.8 or 2.9 seconds of fuel. They're going to hold him, and he should be gone. It's 3.3 overall stop.
So the stops are happening fast and furious here. Kyle Busch is your race leader. And there's Kyle waving, so he is going to be coming into pit road this time by. I guess the big question mark is, did they get enough fuel in that 22? Vince?
Kyle Busch told his crew chief Mike Beam, let's wait to the very last moment to pit, and that's exactly what they've done. The last car in, it's 3 seconds of fuel is all they need. No tires for the 54.
Your race leader now is Brian Scott. He's our 9th different leader. We've had 20 lead changes, but he too has to stop. Here he comes, giving the signal out the window.
I tell you, Joey Logano just passed Brad Keselowski on the racetrack. You see right there.
There you see Logano out there as he has gotten around, and Keselowski slowing a little there as the 11 makes its pit stop and comes back out.
And Keselowski made it out in front of Logano. Raced him really, really hard, but just couldn't hold him off.
Let's get an update on that 22. What about it, Dave?
They did not get the fuel in that they need. He radioed back to his crew. Did we get enough gas in it? They said no. You're going to have to save, and that's why he let the 20 go right away. He's going to let the 33 go as well here.
So a tough break for Brad Keselowski. Had a great race car underneath him. Not enough fuel, and you can see that he has slowed markedly as Harvick goes by. The 36 of Blaney is 2 laps down. He's going by.
Elliott Sadler's looking there, thinking it's another point for him in his championship battle.
That's exactly right, as he gets around Keselowski. So moves Sadler up to 3rd. And there are the points as of right now. Stenhouse would be 14 back. Dillon 30 back. And he is giving more ground. Meanwhile, Joey Logano's lead is 2.5 seconds. But Logano, as you can see, is starting to run into some lap traffic. Goes around the high side of the 70 of Tony Raines.
He's running up there where nobody else has dared to go, so they're not really impeding his progress very much.
Just 5 laps to go, separating Joey Logano from his 8th win this year in just 18 races.
Out. Coming to you.
That's Keselowski out of fuel.
And that's Brad calling in. So his night has gone south late in this race as he's making his way down pit road. While Brad limps on pit road, Joey Logano continues to fly on the racetrack. He goes around the 98 of Reed Sorensen. Sorensen in 13th position. He is the first car 1 lap down. There you see Kevin Harvick running in 2nd. Elliott Sadler is running in 3rd. So it looks like right now with 3 laps to go, the streak is going to continue where Cup regulars continue to dominate this race. Sadler, hand out the window. I think he's gesturing thanks for giving me ground, as that was Ryan Blaney that gave way.
And I know Elliott Sadler wanted to win this race for his mom, a breast cancer survivor. But I think he's going to be very satisfied that he had a solid run in the top 5, up in the top 3 right now, and be able to extend his points lead.
You saw Kyle Busch running in 4th. The frustration continues. His own race team, he has still not been able to drive that car to victory lane. Brother Kurt did it back in Richmond in April, but Kyle still not there. Right behind him in 5th is Denny Hamlin. Remember, Hamlin took 2 tires. He is 5.7 seconds behind the race lead. White flag is now out, as you see Danica Patrick with the race leader right behind her. Patrick, the last car on the lead lap. She's running 11th. She's been on the lead lap all night. Joey rim riding again as he comes around out of the corner. Here he comes.
Good job, guys. Woo, Charlotte. Yeah.
His
Great job, guys. Cool to finally win here, huh? Awesome. Adam, you're the man.
17th career win in his 106th start. We're going to have to do the win percentage now. He's 8 out of 18 this year. And it's now 44%, which equals the percentage that Kyle Busch turned in when he won 13 races.
Been a very impressive year by this race team and this driver.
Very happy crew chief there, and a very sad and frustrated, I'm sure, Brad Keselowski. Doc?
Well, Adam Stevens, 8th win of the year. 8th win of the year for you guys. Impressive performance. What was the key to this performance tonight, this win?
First, let me say thank you and hello to all the breast cancer survivors. That's a terrible disease, and all the work they do for it is just outstanding. The key tonight was Joey Logano. You know, he doesn't give up. There's no quit in that guy. We battled this thing in practice, and we didn't know how good we were. We tried some silly stuff. It didn't work out. We went back and went to our notes and tuned on it again, and man, he got us there in the end. The GameStop Toyota, I tell you, these guys, this team, and this whole organization, it's a privilege, and I'm so proud of these guys.
Adam Stevens headed to victory lane again. Marty?
And he's running the GameStop colors, Call of Duty Black Ops. I think he just had a Black Op on the field again as he is doing the burnout and celebrating in style here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And we'll get a chance to talk to him for the 8th time this year when we come back to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Some of the noise from inside the cockpit from our microphone, riding along with the winner, Joey Logano. And look at these numbers, guys. He led a total of 62 laps tonight, more than anybody else. He's got 862 on the year. We mentioned 44% win percentage. Let's go talk to the winner for the 8th time this year.
Joey Logano getting ready to climb out here. First time he's ever won at Charlotte Motor Speedway. "17 career nationwide wins, 8 on the season," and Joey waving up to his crew. Hey, Joey, what a great night. The only glitch seemed to be when you sort of semi-questioned the 2 tires change on the final stop. What was that about?
I should know better than to question Adam Stevens. Man, he's just amazing. He's given me great cars every single weekend. I've had a shot to win, and we had to work really hard for this. The 22 was really good about mid-part of the race, and he made some good adjustments. I found a new line and was able to make this GameStop Toyota Call of Duty on it up fast enough to win. So obviously really cool to win Dollar General race as one of our sponsors here at Gibbs. Cool to win that race for him, and with Rick and all the guys here. So I'm excited about it. Obviously Sport Clips, C-Line, all those guys nationwide. Thank you for all the fans. Thanks for coming out here tonight.
We saw the 33 car come sailing by you. It looked like you were pretty helpless, and then suddenly you moved and changed line, and here you come sailing back by. How did you know to make that move?
Well, I was kind of, I didn't have an option. I was getting beat, and I was like, man, I got to find something. And I moved to the top, and I was like, hey, here's something here. And just kind of had to adjust my style a little bit and get this old 20 car rocking. So, you know, I'm glad to get these guys in victory lane one more time. So, still got a few more left.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Joey Logano wins for the first time in his career in a NASCAR Nationwide Series car here at the home track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Marty?
And Doc, with his Toyota finishing ahead of the Chevrolets, it denies Chevrolet the Manufacturers Championship for at least one more race. And here are the results, as you can see through the top 10. The top 10 cars were all on the lead lap, and Michael Annett in that 10th spot, he does move into 5th place in the championship points by 14 now, ahead of Justin Allgaier, who had that early race incident. Then as we look at the second page, guys, Danica Patrick, she just went down a lap right at the very end.
Right at the end. That's very solid. That's probably as good as I've seen her run. Time's competitive, making passes.
And you see Brad Keselowski ends up in 18th position. Let's talk to him, Dave.
Brad, you led laps today. The car was very fast. How would you describe overall, given the fuel situation at the end?
Well, you got it right. It was very fast. We had a car to certainly win with Discount Tire Dodge, and Discount Tire does tires, not gas. So, you know, they got their part right, but just didn't have any gas at the end, and they won't run without them.
Are you, given the perspective of what's happening in the Sprint Cup side, can you let this go, or is this really maddening?
Yeah, it is what it is. You know, you have to understand what this program's about. This program's about giving opportunities with different people, whether it's Ryan Blaney, who drives when I don't, or different pit crew members. As you know, we made sure none of the Cup guys are on this team tonight, so there's no risk of them getting hurt. And you know, we provided some opportunities to some other guys. Some of them did great, and obviously we had some struggles in other areas. But you know, that's what this program's about, and you know, we win and lose as a team.
Another one pulling double duty this weekend is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Ends up 7th tonight. Had a car that's probably a little bit better than that for sure, but the one pit stop cost you 7 spots. What happened there?
Yeah, we just decided we were going to try to, fix the spooler. I got into the wall like the first lap of that run, and it bent the spooler back a little bit. And we were running third there and came in, and we tried to fix it right there at the last second and lost a bunch of track position. Car didn't really drive as well in the back as it was, when we were running up front. So Cargill Beef Mustang was a little bit better than that today. Just, we just made a mistake on that pit stop, and, we'll go back and get them next week at Kansas and just keep pushing forward. And that's why they make the next week. So I got to thank NOS, Nationwide Insurance, everybody that helps us do this every week. And in the series that we run in, it's a lot of fun, just disappointing at times. But, we'll come back and get them. It's 4 races left. That's still a lot of time.
Thanks, Ricky. Jamie?
Well, Elliott Sadler brings it home third, and he had a big smile on his face and said how much fun tonight was. You overcame one bad stop, but other than that, it seemed to be pretty good.
It was. We got a little tight there at the end, but I'm just so proud of my guys here with the One Main Financial car, and it's a very special race to me, like I said before, with the pink paint scheme. And we ran pretty good tonight. I told Ray Evernham I was going to win the race, so I did let him down. Sorry about that. But from a fan's perspective, I think this was one of the best races of the year. I mean, when I was running third and fourth and the leaders, we were all battling and 2 and 3 wide the whole race. These cars put on such a good show with the rules package and stuff that we have. So just really happy that my family was here with me tonight. My mom got to ride in the truck around with me after we sat on the pole, and just all in all, a really good night for our company.
Did what you needed to do, increase your lead by 13 points now over Ricky Stenhouse. Let's go over to Dave.
Jamie, Austin Dillon finished 6th tonight. We saw the pit road penalty. What else were you fighting out there tonight, Austin?
Our race car was really tight. We burnt the right front tire off it every time we put a set on. It was in the cord, so we had to take 2 even on that last green flag stop just because we couldn't chance it. And, going into this race, we knew it was going to be the toughest one for the last 5 that we had. This was our best finish at Charlotte from the truck days even to now. And to get a 6, it's not bad. We're still in it. So we go to these last 4 where we know we're going to be good at and just take advantage of it. And I want to thank Nationwide Insurance, Bass Pro Shops for coming on board, and everybody that helps this RCR team.
Positive perspective from 3rd place in the championship. Marty?
All right, David, and let's talk about the points right now. 13 markers back is Ricky Stenhouse, and then it's 29 points to 3rd place, Austin Dillon. Twice this year in a 4-race stretch, Elliott Sadler's had that kind of lead or larger and lost it. So this is far from over.
Oh, far from over. We've got a big unknown coming up next week in Kansas. Newly paved racetrack. These guys go out a little bit early, a day early, and get some practice on it. But I think that this is going to be a treacherous racetrack, fast racetrack to race on. That could shake things up.
Yeah, I see Stenhouse being one of the guys that can really go fast on a new track like that. I think he'll have an opportunity to make up some points next week, possibly. We'll see.
The celebration continues down in Victory Lane, and we want to remind you the number of events are winding down, and if you want to join us, well, there's the ticket to the race. All you have to do is see us at Kansas next week or Texas Motor Speedway, Phoenix, and we'll wrap up the season at Homestead Miami Speedway. And let's check in with the man who finished 2nd. How about it, Jamie Little?
Well, Kevin Harvick brings it home 2nd, and it's surprising to see that is your best finish in the Nationwide Series here at Charlotte. But you guys had a pretty good race going. Was it as exciting for you guys inside as it was for us watching?
Yeah, our Menards Ream Chevy has been really good here the last 2 races. We've led a bunch of laps and had a lot of fun racing with all those guys tonight. So I enjoyed it, and we came up a little short and got working on a few new things and got a good direction for that. But it's always fun when you can have a race like that.
Absolutely. Kevin Harvick will be back in the car at Texas.
Thanks, Jamie. A lot of championship implications out there tonight. And Ray, you've been talking all night long. When the championship is this close, only 13 points between the top 2 drivers now, you simply cannot make mistakes. And a few of our title contenders tonight did just that.
Well, they did. We saw some mistakes on pit road, bad stops under green, and we saw an issue with Ricky Stenhouse's pit crew trying to fix some damage. We also saw some great pit stops. The 20 car taking 2 tires, so elevator up, elevator down, made a difference on pit road tonight and open up the point spread.
So right now, Ricky Stenhouse trails Elliott Sadler by 13 with 4 to go. Austin Dillon back by 29. Two-man race?
Yeah, I think it is a two-man race right now, Nicole. I think it is the 2-car, the 6-car. I was really concerned for Ricky Stenhouse tonight because we saw the spoiler on the right rear corner of that car bent back. That loses quite a bit of downforce. I really thought they should have spent more time, fixed that, got him back in the game. But Ricky really didn't know how much damage was done to that car, and it really slowed it down.
Yeah, it really did. The thing on my mind, though, is how good are these Joe Gibbs race cars? I mean, obviously, we saw Kyle Busch set some tremendous records over the past couple seasons in that race car. Now we're seeing Joey Logano do basically the same thing, and Kyle Busch struggle in his own car. So I think those Joe Gibbs race cars are pretty darn good.
And you know what? These guys don't race at Talladega. Next week is their wild card,
that's
this
right.
newly repaved Kansas. I look forward to that, Marty.
All right, thank you, Nicole. As the celebration continues, and take a look at the single season most wins. Kyle Busch set the mark at 13 in 2010. Sam Ard and Kyle back in 1983 and 2008 respectively had 10. Kevin Harvick racked up 9 in 06. And now Joey Logano is in some select company.
Yeah, he's done it in only 18 races, though. That's the incredible part of that.
Yeah, just another solid victory. And I think Brad's exactly right. This organization at Joe Gibbs, they put a lot of effort into this. They've got some really good people. And what we've seen is a lot what Brad Keselowski was talking about with his race team in this nationwide series is they use those people, build those people up, and get them ready to move to Cup and have them there. And these drivers certainly benefit from having a great operation like that.
You know, Adam was struggling with that hat. He's had 8 times to practice all that. I'm surprised he had any fun. There's J.D. Gibbs as he is relishing the moment as well. And as you see, it's about time for us to say farewell. There is the coach as he is a very happy camper. What about tomorrow? What do you think about tomorrow's race?
Yeah, one thing I see is that high line. I really like what we saw out of Logano. He moved up there, found a lot of speed. I think we're going to see a lot of Cup cars up there tomorrow night.
It certainly opened some other drivers that weren't involved in this, that'll be in the Cup race tomorrow night, open their eyes to something that they'll have to at least experiment with. I think we're going to see a great race. Strategy's going to play a point, and drivers got their hands full at a tough racetrack.
And you saw the Bank of America on ABC at 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. And our next stop is at Kansas, 3 o'clock Eastern next Saturday, right here in ESPN. Coming up next, it is Sports Center. And for all of us here, well, we sure have appreciated you joining us tonight here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, as it has been one great night of racing. 9 different leaders, 21 lead changes, and despite 5 cautions, it was one heck of a race. For our entire ESPN crew, I'm Marty Reed. Thanks so much for joining us here on the NASCAR Nationwide Series. We'll see you next week in Kansas. Till we meet again.